Okay, I know how I would like to start this episode if that's okay.
You have a cold open.
Yeah.
I Interesting. I think I know how this cold open happens.
Yeah?
But I don't but I also there's a not 0% chance that I don't.
Okay. All right. Well, you let me know
if I nail it. Okay.
Yeah, because this is how I want the episode to start.
Okay.
And another thing. Misogyny.
No, that's not how I thought it was going to go, actually.
And another thing, misogyny. Dragon Age. So I'm starting the episode this way because Act 2 wasn't remotely done. Okay, apparently. Pacing in this game is non-existent. What a, slow chug away that it is to get through the middle of this game. It is like trying to travel the equator.
I will say that all of the stuff that we were at the point of no return. However, we then did all of the side content. And admittedly, I don't believe that companion quests are side content. I think companion quests are main content.
And the Solas quest being optional content.
Now, here's what's interesting is I didn't do the Solas quests because I did all of the companions. I got some of the people up to max, like some of the factions up to max, and then it was Thursday. We normally record on Thursday, we're recording on Saturday, but I was like, oh, we're recording tonight. I'm just going to finish the game. And I just finished it. Even though I knew that there was a thing which I am not a fan of in this particular instance. I'm not normally a fan of it, but I'm definitely not a fan of it in a Dragon Age game, which is a bad, middle, good, and best ending. Because kind of the idea of Dragon Age is that it's not an end. It's not like, oh, this is a good ending. This is the ending you got through the choices that you made. But I know that if you do all the Solas quests, you do all the companion quests, you get everyone up to max, all the factions up to like as high as they can go, you can get a best ending. I don't know what that entails, but I know that you can.
Yeah. I definitely didn't get everybody maxed out, but I did get what appears to be a good ending.
I got what I think is a good ending. I'm going to say controversially, the last mission of this game is really good.
Well, okay, hang tight, because let's get through the fact that we had to do the companion quest and that I did do the Solas's regrets quest. So,
1 second. I have to 1 sec. I have to have my background music on, which is my Dragon Age lo-fi remix.
Oh, I want that too. Actually,
and Dillin,
yeah,
this is the last time we're going to be able to do this.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yeah.
Kill me.
Yeah.
Kill
yeah.
Me. Got into my head. In fact, actually,
it's sad.
My name is Dillin.
It's upsetting.
I have played all 3 Dragon Age games and Dragon Age Dreamlight Valley. The
Hello, everyone. My name is Robin. I have played all of the Dragon Age games, including Hello Kitty Dragon Age Adventure.
Oh god! Oh, we're having fun. So when I did all of the story quests last time, thinking that companion quests would sort of come up naturally throughout, but it didn't. Like, they didn't trigger for me, a lot of them, until way late.
What's interesting to me is that you saying that you did all of Emmerich's story and it all happened. And it's like, oh, because you mentioned, last time, like, I wish
was wrong
that
about that. Yeah.
Which is crazy. Yeah. Because because that is kind of how companion quests in this game goes. It's unlike in, oh God, I hate hate to bring her up. I love her so much, but in Dragon Age 2, it's like companion quests happen in Act 1, everyone has a quest. Act 2, everyone has a quest. Act 3, everyone has a quest. In this, it's like they just kind of happen. Knocked my mic. They just kind of happen. And what's crazy is I actually never got Nev's. I did all of Nev's stuff. I never did Nev's final like closing remarks. So she never became a hero of the Veilguard.
Interesting.
And the reason why I got a bunch of factions up to max is because I kept leaving and coming. I left. I did a mission. I came back to see if her thing had triggered, and it never did.
Yeah, it's
a bit weird. I don't know.
That's frustrating. I did get all of the companion quests done and completed, so I had everybody as a hero of the Veilguard is what it's whatever. Yeah. The Veilguard isn't even a thing.
It's not a thing. That's another thing. We'll talk about after we've done our story wrap up. We'll talk about.
So we had talked about all the story stuff. So now I like kind of separately was doing, I knew I wanted to do the Solas quest because it felt very important. I was very frustrated to realize that it was optional because that's the whole
game. That's a
game. I feel like I know they wanted to make it so that you could eat based on whether or not you completed it, you would have different options. But what you could do is you could show us the story and you could give us the choice on how we want to handle Solas in the end, instead of it just being like you either finish the content and you get this ending, or you don't finish the content and you get this ending.
And it's a weird companion quests. I mean, I guess they're putting it in the same vein as companion quests, where it's like, well, you don't have to do it, but then things will happen if you don't do it. But locking things off locking something like, Solas off behind a optional quest is definitely weird, because I didn't really know where to start with it, so I just didn't. Because
going to the crossroads almost immediately becomes unnecessary.
You just fast travel through it. That's a thing which I think that's what frustrated me more is I think I had a thing where it was like, oh, you have 10% of the crossroads explored, and I was like, I'm at the end of the game. Like I don't want to do all this. I have a lot of other things I need to be doing.
There's so much. So companion quests. Let's start with the companion quests. I am going to
say this is going to be my most positive episode about the Veilguard.
I'm just trying to calm down because I really I still really did not like this game with some very little exceptions, but
no, I think this game is genuinely dreadful. However, two things remain in my mind. Actually, a few things. Okay, you know what? Let's just go. Let's go through this.
Let's go. Yeah.
So, we didn't talk a lot about companion missions last time. Do you want to just go through each companion and talk about all the missions?
Yeah, I think so.
So, Balara. Her mission is her brother is dead. Oops. No, he's not. He's alive and working for like an elven demon who is trying to and it's the pair of them working to like ascend, essentially like saying that this demon is saying that they're going to do the same things as Solas, which is ascend elves to like a higher echelon and back to not what
they're going
to
do elf supremacy.
Yeah.
Is the goal.
He's really into it. Balara is like, oh my god, my brother's alive and he's evil. And then a lot of it is like you're talking her through what I was doing, which is, well, we're going to kill your brother because he's a bad man. Because a thing which I did realize, I think we also talked about this last week. It's a flurry of anger. I can barely remember. My Rook, one of my favorite things to do in a Dragon Age story is have my characters grow. I did definitely talk about this last week. Is have my characters grow.
Yes.
But Rook is physically incapable of doing that. So I started with, I want to play a dwarf who is a dickhead who hates mages and magic and is kind of angry about these things. And then I ended the game with the same character. So every single time it's like, oh, but my brother is like, he's still my brother. I was just like, I don't care that he's your brother. We need to kill him. Kill him dead. Stomp him into the ground. But I said it in a jovial, lighthearted way. In a kind, fun thing.
Yeah.
And then you go there. Her brother sacrifices himself to kill the demon. And
yeah, which was a little like, I couldn't get a read on whether or not Valara's brother was a problem or not. Like, was he like?
I think.
Did he change his mind and like have a good? Because
I think he was tricked, but also he did fake his death, right? Or was saved and decided to not contact anyone because he was trying to do elf supremacy.
Yeah.
And then at the last minute, kind of changed his mind upon like getting this new relationship with Balara, or like seeing that she's like alive and well, and is like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't do this. Mm-hmm. And then Balara is like, I have this archive spirit. In the wrong hands, this archive spirit can do a lot of evil, but we can learn a lot about our histories. Or we could destroy it, and then we'd lose all this history, but it wouldn't fall into evil, villainous hands. My mind thought, you can do both. You can kind of learn a lot from it, and then get rid of it and make sure it doesn't fall into evil hands. Rook said, oh, destroy it. I don't care. Get rid of it. I can't have another Solas happen.
I said keep it. Because I fundamentally disagree with how this game decided to put a cap on the story of the elves. And so I'm just not accepting of it. I think that the elves should fucking keep their heritage.
They should learn.
And their history and all of that. And I'm playing an elven rook, so I was like, I'm gonna have this rook care about that, even though the game really won't let me. Because I talk to Balara like I'm not an elf. But I not an elf with fucking Mythos Valicine on my face.
Literally.
So I encourage her to keep it, because fuck that. We do deserve to keep our heritage and our knowledge, and we decide what to do with that information. But yeah, and then Balara gets her fancy armor. Hooray.
Yep. Hooray done.
Harding. Should we do Harding?
Let's do Harding next.
Yeah.
Harding is frustrating to me.
Yeah. Because this is the one we wanted. This is the one I wanted. The story we wanted.
The most stoked I could be about a thing was kind of knowing through promo pictures that Harding gets magic, and that's a fucking crazy deal. And I was the most excited that I could be. A big reason why I wanted to be a dwarf was because I wanted to play someone who was ushering magic back to their people. Like, that's crazy big, and it's again a storyline I've wanted for a million years. We go to Cal's Rock with Harding, and there's a bunch of dwarves that have been trapped by this like red lyrium thing. We go to find the heart. It turns out that we're in a Titan. This is a thing that bummed me out, is that we're just in a cave. The last time we were in a Titan, you felt like we were in a Titan. In Inquisition, when you go outside, but it's inside, and it's this infinite, like, gargantuan landscape where there's birds and nature, because it's all hemmed in inside, and it's like, oh, we are inside a god right now. Like, that was the coolest shit ever. This is a cave, and that bummed me out. Is that we were just walking around like a basic normal like mining cave system, and there was no like huge recess opening, because that's what happened in the Descent. The Descent, by the way, for people at home, I know that both of us ragged on the Descent really hard. That is the DLC that I walked away with the most excitement by,
because I think
of the story in the Descent is so crazy.
It plays badly.
Yeah, but it's like, the the descent starts, deep roads, caves, opens up into a huge, beautiful landscape, and then you realize, oh my god, I'm inside of a Titan. This is literally just a cave, and it's upsetting.
Yeah.
Harding says, you're freeing dwarves from this red lyrium. And then Harding says the line, this isn't red lyrium. This is just lyrium that's angry.
That happens to be angry. Oh my god. Kill me. There are so many moments. It took me so long to play this game because every 10 minutes I had to put down the controller and just go lie down for a second to like just be like, oh, sure. Okay.
I wrote that down because that also pissed me off. Then you get to the heart. The heart kind of cracks open, and it's like a lyrium copy of Harding that's really like pissed off and angry, and this is clearly the heart of the Titan. And there's a lot of this in these final companion missions where there is a Star Wars-esque light versus dark side battle, where it's like blue versus red, and there's a lot of it, and this is the first one of that. And I think it's just really weird and jarring. Just the iconography of it. Not that that's what's happening, but it's an iconography of a light versus dark battle. Harding fights the Titan, and then the Titan is like, the elves lied and have been lying for ages, and also betrayed and tried to kill us. That's why there's no Titans really anymore, is because we were all
in Thetis, just for background, humans didn't exist at the start of things. It was just elves and dwarves for like a majority of time. The elves, we learn here in Veilguard, were spirits who took like bodies.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Made by Solas. Like, Solas is the first elf in like a very Jesus type Adam and Eve kind of metaphor.
And so it was elves and dwarves and Titans.
And the dwarves are born from Titans, right?
From the Titans, right. So I guess it was elves and Titans, and the elves then came into the world and oppressed the Titans into non-existence. And built the world on top of them.
And then you can decide to so Harding gets possessed by the Titan, and you can decide to have Harding work through compassion and like calm the Titan down, or side with the Titan's anger and work with that. I picked anger because I'm a dwarf, and I'm like,
I also picked anger.
Slaughtered all of our people. Yeah. It also, gang, has no repercussions, because it also said side with Harding's anger, and I'm like, Harding has never been angry a day in her life. She's so kind, and I was hoping siding with a Titan's anger would make her like really strong but lash out randomly, but she's exactly the same afterwards.
Yeah,
and that's
then
a bit
she just
upsetting.
says that, I've been pushing down my anger for all this time. I was like, I guess.
Wish he wouldn't. That would be sick, actually.
Or I wish there was some indication of that we had experienced during this game.
I think what would have been cool is if Harding... I'm okay with Harding being this caricature of who she is, this like weird, bubbly, like Tumblr girl, and then getting magic and becoming really angry, like, and then getting these like flips where she like flips into super rage and gets really pissed. Cool. And then at the end, just like, oh, you're angry because it's Titan in you, and the Titan is like pissed, and you're reliving all these memories of like being destroyed.
There's no exposition on that at all. It's just sort of like all of the enemy quests that we talked about last time. You learn about the thing the day you encounter it, and with the companion quest, it's the same. Like, you learn this thing as you encounter resolved. It. There's no like build up to anything.
There is a bit of a bit of a moment where, because I'm romancing Harding, we had a unique closer to the thing where I get infected with lyrium and then she calms down to help me, and then we're like holding each other romantically. And then I wrote down, I fucking hate Rook because he says, did you like my smooth moves, when he's dying and coughing? And I'm like, I need you to die for real.
Rook needs a laugh track. Rook
I need a
needs
Seinfeld ass bom, 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 bom.
Yeah, after everything that this bastard says, he's
fucking
so
hate him.
I am also, so I'm romancing Emmerich, so I want to talk about his next, I think.
Yeah.
Fun fact, I didn't romance Harding, obviously, because I romanced Emmerich. And Harding and Tosh got together.
That's crazy.
And I gave them my blessing because I think that it's fine for teenagers to date, and I'm a cool dad. So I'd rather them do it in the house.
Were they the only ones that got together? Because Nev and Lucanus got together for me.
I also got Nev and Lucanus to get together. Yeah.
That's so fun because Harding and Tosh talk about the fact that me and Harding got together, and I think that gives a fun angle because Tosh threatens you and is like, oh, if you hurt her, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
That's pretty cute. I like that.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And I like the fact that if Tosh has feelings for Harding and then Harding gets together with you and then Tosh is like, hey,
no,
I'm jealous
like that.
actually of
that
this. Yeah.
gives me good big Dragon Age vibes from that.
Big Dragon Age vibes from that.
I love that.
Yeah.
I also liked Lucanus and Nev. I thought that was cute. I hate Rook's involvement in it. And for Rook just like stands there and is like, and like
there was
outs Lucanus for having, like, it's weird.
Yeah, there was a
really
moment
weird
where I had the option to say nothing for the first time in the entire game because Nev and Lucanus were flirting, and I was like, yeah, I picked that. And then Lucanus is like, you have nothing to say? And I was like, no, I don't have anything to say. But I do like the fact that Lucanus is like, oh, you don't have anything to say about this situation? Because
you're not going to open your big fucking mouth?
Yeah.
And make some sort of awkward comment?
I know, I fucking hate it. In total, and then you have a closer with Harding where you go to a place to try and hear the stone again. We talk about the fact that dwarves have magic, and like dwarves are now getting magic. It's not like a one-time thing. It's like a thing where it's like, there's implications to this. And then you look out over the landscape and there is a giant, it's a titan, but it is a humanoid, like colossus creature that is dead in the mountains. A visual that's cool, but in terms of the storytelling, that's not what titans look like. And also, why are we questioning if titans exist if I'm looking at a colossal figure? Like,
also, what do you mean? We just learned that they exist. Like, we're inside one.
Yeah, I know, but it's like it's the question of, do titans exist when I'm on a mountain and I'm looking at a giant humanoid figure like laying down in the mountains? It's like, well, what's that? It's right there. There's a titan. It's like, it's a thing that's just in the world. But also, again, titans don't look like humans. Titans are big. We actually don't know what titans look like, and that's the coolest thing about titans, is we've never seen one just wander around.
Right.
Anyway, so that was a thing where I was like, I mean, it's a cool visual of a giant colossus creature dead in the mountains, but it doesn't work for me.
Yeah. Then at the end of that, then we have a roommate meeting about it again also, where Balara like apologizes to Harding for the elves being so bigoted. I have storytellers, and this is not solely a Dragon Age thing. This is a storytellers do this a lot in mainstream media. You gotta, like, when you write a story of oppression, like Dragon Age has been writing into the elf storyline from day one. It's a fantasy story, so we don't want you to do a one-to-one copy paste of like a real world oppression. That is tacky. But borrowing themes is okay, and I think will help you tell a better story. When you write an oppressed class or culture or something like that, and then you create reasons why they were oppressed that justify it, that goes against pretty much every trend that society has ever seen, ever. And it makes for a very weird, uncanny valley thing where we now are subconsciously justifying bigotry.
Yeah.
And I just think if we all just did a little light reading about history, it would just make for stronger narratives and ones that reflect the truths we know about the world rather than recreating them into something else. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Emmerich.
I'm going
to say
that's
this.
my romance.
Peak.
Emmerich?
Great. I actually think that Emmerich is so good. I need Emmerich to be in Inquisition.
I would
not
love
in this game.
Emmerich to be in Inquisition.
Oh my god.
I love Emmerich's
Him
story.
and Dorian
would
be the best of friends. Like there's a mentoree thing there, and there's a
there is a thing that pisses me off there.
Yeah,
there is a thing that pisses me off there because they do say that Emmerich like tutored Dorian. Like it's in a like little piece of side banter or whatever. I deeply dislike that because Dorian in Inquisition talks to Cassandra and is so obsessed with Navarin culture because he thinks that necromancy is so cool and he's always wanted to go to a necropolis. And he asks Cassandra so many times like what it's like and if she would ever take him there. And yeah, so he talks about it.
And they're saying, oh, he's actually been there a lot.
He was actually there as a child. He's been tutored by one of the most senior necromancers of all time.
Yeah.
Whatever. This game doesn't care about any of the other Dragon Age games, so there's no surprise there. But on its face, his story is very good. So we did we had done in last time we met what's her face? Johanna Hazenkos, right?
Yeah, I think so.
She tried to be a lich. So this is a new thing where people apparently can become liches, and that is a good thing, even though it's like very normal.
It's just a thing, not even like a good thing. It's just it's like it's neither good nor bad.
Yeah, it's a choice. So you can just become a lich to become immortal.
Yeah, Johanna Hazenkos.
And that's very interesting to me because liches have just been a whatever. I'm going to stop trying to pretend that this is a Dragon Age game and just talk about it. So
see, this is fun because I actually don't know much about liches. So from where I am, this was an interesting
take.
We've fought a bunch
of liches, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But this is just an interesting take on lichdom as a whole. I thought it was interesting.
I do agree. So, Emmerich, we learn, wants to become a lich because he has this horrific fear of dying.
The problem is outside of the law breaks, which have now happened, and I've now found out happened, the storyline of a guy being so horrified of death that he puts in a huge amount of effort to become a lich and functionally immortal so he never has to face it. love that fucking storyline.
Yeah, I love that.
I think it's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we meet Johanna, whose lichdom ritual failed.
Yeah, she's a half lich. She
So
didn't
she's a
fully get
half-lich.
there.
Yeah. And that's bad, I guess. And so she's gone mad, and she has a plan.
Well, she's always been a little mad.
Yeah.
She just has failed becoming a half lich. She failed becoming a full lich. So now there's something in that. And then
so she now has a plan to like a way around it, where she's built a pretty silly machine that she's going to fill with enough souls to pilot, and then
she's going full Pacific Rim.
Yeah, and then so she will then be inside that machine, and she will live forever in that, is the plan.
Which I thought, again, here's the thing. I think what happened, Act 3, I've just started taking this game as like, nothing fucking matters. I'm not going to be impressed by this game. I saw this giant bone golem thing, and I was like, that's fucking sick.
Yeah.
I was like, it looks silly, but it's cool.
But it's cool.
The scene where it's like, what she's done is she's invited a bunch of people that have like betrayed and hurt her in the past to a giant party just to harvest all of their souls, put into a giant skeleton, which she will pilot like a Jaeger. It's so fucking fun, and it's so fun. Stupid. And I was like, I love this shit. We had a boss fight that I thought was pretty fun. Oh, okay, actually, more importantly.
Oh, her boss fight's fun, yeah.
You go to the party, you bring Manfred along.
Yes,
Manfred,
this is fun.
I hate. I don't give a fuck about this plushy ass. Like, it is a creature to put in to sell merch, and I hate him.
Him and Asan are merch. They
are merch, purely merch. And Harding being a soft little teddy bear.
Fucking fuck. Yeah.
You go there, you bring Manfred, because Manfred is going to pretend to be a waiter, because what's one more skeleton no one's going to notice, and then you're like using Manfred to do a heist, basically. Manfred is going around speaking to people, finding out what they want, coming back to you. You're getting you're like getting things for them to like manipulate them into giving you the things that you need to beat Johanna. Manfred, as you're like unlocking all of these souls, begins to speak in more and more coherent sentences, which I thought was fairly interesting.
It was a little interesting. This, I thought, was another thing that I really would have cared more about if it was like...
didn't just happen and then end.
Exactly. If it was trickled out to me throughout the game, if it was like a progressional thing. But whatever.
I agree with you. Johanna sacrifices all the people at the party, or begins to harvest their souls. I guess she's unsuccessful. You fight her, and then... the reason why she's able to begin harvesting people is because Emmerich goes to remove this lantern of souls, which is like the power core of this giant bone creature.
Yeah.
But Emmerich knows that if he tries it, there's a pretty high likelihood of him dying, so then can't bring himself to do it because he's scared.
Yeah. Great
Loved
moment. That.
Great moment. Then, while she's going mad, you fight her, and then Manfred runs up and sacrifices itself, to pull the lantern out. Emmerich's able to do the spell then and destroy it. Manfred is dead. And Emmerich and Johanna is defeated. Is there anything extra with you because you romanced?
So then, we go to decide. We go back to
Necropolis.
Yeah, we go back to the Necropolis. We have
just because my Harding thing happens in the big, like, after the boss fight. So I was wondering if Emmerich has something after this.
There's not like a ton in this part of it. We flirt a little yeah, we flirt a little bit, and he calls me darling like a lot or whatever. But I don't think
Nice.
I
Sure.
recall there being like anything extra that happens in this part. But then we go back to the Grand Necropolis, and Emmerich speaks to a lich about the possibility of bringing of whether or not we could bring Manfred back. The lich says that it is possible, but if he were to do this, and I really do like this part, but if we were to do this, he can never become a lich himself.
Why
Because
is... Oh, there we go. No, please.
because it is if you are to become a lich, you have to show that you are comfortable with death, because you will live forever and everyone you know forever will die without you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't prove that you are okay with that, then you are at a higher risk of becoming a tyrant, because you will continuously make exceptions for people that you love. You'll keep bringing them back, and there's a limit to how many times that can happen before you just become a tyrant.
That probably explains that why we have fought liches is that those are people that make exceptions, and those are people that have gone like a little mad and evil,
I guess. Yeah. So you get a choice to like encourage him one way or the other. So what did you do?
This is the only thing that took me a little while to think about.
I did take a good think on this one too.
I think for the good of Emmerich should accept the fact that he is going to die one day and then remain human. I also think that as Rook, because my Rook is against magic and doesn't like it. But man, I wanted to see him become a lich. How cool is that? Mm-hmm. So I picked lich, and I made the decision that Rook is like, okay, if someone is going to become a lich, if someone is going to become like a hyper powerful immortal thing, I'd like it to be this guy, because I can trust this guy so far. And I picked lich because it is cool. And what a cool thing. Robin, wanted to see him turn into a lich really bad. I wanted to see what the ramifications were. And there are ramifications and things that happen if he becomes a lich. I think it's fucking awesome, actually.
Well, what happens? Because I convinced him to bring back Manfred.
Oh, so sorry, I forgot. I also don't give a fuck about Manfred. And I was like, I don't care if he lives. He's not pulling at any heartstrings for me. So if he becomes a lich, he gets taken into this back room and executed. Full murdered. There's like a lich, like they walk into a room, a lich walks out with like a bloody knife that they're clearing. And then Emmerich comes back and is full skeleton for the rest of the game. He is like no skin on face, glowing like eyes with like a crown on his head. This like he looks so fucking cool. He's always like slightly floating off the ground. Speaks the same, but he has this slight like timbre in his voice where everything is like lightly echoed. There's a really fun scene at your like best friend's table meeting, where he has a glamour that he sets up to make himself look like him. So if you're in like public areas in the game, he looks like old Emmerich does. But in the lighthouse, the crossroads, and in the final mission, he looks just full lich. And also cool. in the Morn Watchers, he also, like in that area, he looks like a lich as well. Because he says, around friends and people that I trust, I'm going to look like me, but otherwise I'm going to look like old Emmerich to not scare people.
I like that.
There's a fun scene where everyone's sitting around the table and he's like, so, this is a better queer story than Tasha's is even remotely. Because he comes out. There's a whole coming out scene of Emmerich coming out as a lich. And as he's like revving himself up to do it, you're like, it's all right, people are here. And he begins, and then I think Harding is like, you're a lich, right? You're a lich. That's the, that's what's happening. And then Tasha's like, yeah, you're like a skeleton dude. No, that's fine. And then everyone's talking about how they're fine with him being a skeleton guy. Like, it's still him. They're still like friends and they love him still. And then he turns into the full skeleton and people are like complimenting him and thinking it's really cool. And I'm like, oh, it's a coming out story. Like, him being a lich is him coming out. And I was like, this is infinitely better than I had a conversation with my mom again. And that horrendous story that I hate so much.
Well, we have to talk about that because that irritated me.
But I loved it. I genuinely. Oh, so what happens if he doesn't? Manfred comes back.
I picked bring Manfred back, one, because I'm fucking this old man, and
you can't fuck a skeleton. Well, you can, but
you can. I'm fucking this old man, and I don't like the idea that I'm gonna get old and die.
He'll keep living.
Yeah, and I want him to be immortal with me so that we can be cute, and also, I just think that's part of the attraction. I'm a young twink just looking for an old man to fuck. And also because I felt, Manfred has been boring to me, but has just gotten interesting.
Yeah, him.
And I was like, I want to see where that goes. Turns out nowhere. But like,
love that.
Whatever, it's fine. So we do the ritual to bring Manfred back. Emmerich stays mortal. Manfred is now talking. Manfred now has some clothes that he starts to wear. We get like one more scene with Manfred talking, and Rook makes a terrible joke about Manfred being our adopted son. And Emmerich is literally like, no, that's stupid. But whatever, honey. Emmerich is not with Rook for his brain. Emmerich is with Rook for different reasons. So then we have a little bit of our romances in there, which is fine. So yours, that sounds like the canon ending. I think that while this was a cute choice, there's something about this, especially from a romance perspective, that made me yearn for it to be a little more decisive. And what I mean by that is, like, I think back to like Dorian's quest in Inquisition in particular, but like, I think this was fun. In the very beginning of this, in one of our earlier romance quests or personal quests, when he first tells me that he would like to be a lich, I have a romance option to be like, so about us if you do that. And he says, oh, darling, I would always check. I would of course check with you. If you don't want me to do this, I won't.
Ooh.
And so then when I get the choice to like tell him not to, I'm kind of like Dorian is one of my favorite romances in the game. And part of it is because he has a passion so powerful that it doesn't matter how great you are and how much you do for him and whatever. He cares about Tevinter so much, he's gonna go back without you. He's gonna go back and fix it. Yeah. And that is something you can't control, and it's gonna break your heart. But it is such a good piece of character building. This felt like it should have been like that for Emmerich, where like this is the thing that he's always wanted in life. And like, I think it would have been more interesting if like the Manfred decision was like helping him to like choosing whether or not to support him through this in a way where he can learn to accept death. It could have been a hardening or softening kind of thing. It could have been, I think there could have been other ways to give choice to that without it being like, tell him to become a lich or not.
Yeah.
But still, I still liked it. I still thought it was fine.
I really, really liked this quest. Like,
I liked it.
That's the problem with it, is like afterward I was like, I was telling everyone in the house, I was like, I just had a Dragon Age Veilguard quest that I really enjoyed. Like, I
Yeah.
really like Emmerich. I did not believe you at first when you were like, oh, Emmerich is top tier. I was like, Emmerich kind of sucks. He's just a bit of a loser and I just don't get it. And then I did his
Yeah.
quest
No, I
and
do
now
like
I'm
that.
like, oh, he's like, Emmerich to me is better than some Dragon Age trilogy characters, like companions. Like, I would rank him. All of the Veilguard they're in F tier. They're right at the bottom. If we were to do a full ass companion tier list, Emmerich is like. I mean, obviously Emmerich beats Orgrin, of course, but I'm like, I don't know. I think he's so interesting, and in a better game, he'd be an all-timer for me.
Yeah.
In a game with more thought put into it, with full decisions, with more time spent with
Oh,
him,
he
if
would
he
be
had an
incredible.
interesting story that he's interacting with outside of his companion quest, I just think he would be great. I after his Lich thing, and he was walking around, like he's just people are like asking him questions about being a Lich, and he's walking around being. He looks fucking awesome. He's a
Yeah, I bet he
full ass
does. I bet
skeleton
he does.
guy.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna full ass send you a picture right now.
Please do. Yeah, I was about to look one up anyway, but that's good.
In a good story, this guy is fucking cool as hell. Like, he's a great character, a great story.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, and so then we get to do like our little romance bit as well. So then I get a when we start to trigger the end is when like the romance in this is I think it's across the board. They're all pretty bare bones. There's not much happening in the romance department.
Just sent you a him as a thing.
Oh,
It's a YouTube
that's
thumbnail.
so cool. Oh, that's really good. Yeah.
Isn't it
Okay.
really cool?
That's really
and he
good.
just looks like that for the rest of the game.
That's really great.
It's
great.
fucking awesome. Yeah.
That's good. Again, big Dragon Age vibes from that. That's great. I love
that's
that.
the thing. It's the first time I felt like this was a Dragon Age game.
Yeah.
It was like I had just come off the back of doing Harding's Quest where I was so upset about the potential that just they couldn't reach anything of it. And then I played this and I was like, all right, the thing's a little goofy. I really like Johanna as like a villain.
Yeah, I like her.
I really like the pair of them, like their back and forth. The mission I thought was really dull because again, we're going into a party, and if we're going to do a heist, like, can we put some effort into the fact that this will be an interesting, cool heist? Like, it's like I wanted to actually start. Give me something where it's, I don't know, Dragon Age 2 had a fucking stealth section. Like, give me a stealth section where it's like I have to sneak around, and instead of it's like, oh, we're trying to be sneaky at this party. I'm gonna jump 1,000 feet into the air and slam into the ground, creating an earthquake, killing 50 people. It's like, well, that's not stealthy. All right, let's have some decorum whilst we're here.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was a lot of stuff that it was interesting. Anyway. So
the romance across the board in this game is pretty thin. So overall, I'm pretty disappointed in that, but I did have some good scenes with Emmerich. So after you trigger the point of no return, there's a part where we're like, okay, tomorrow is the big day. We're gonna go fight tomorrow. Everybody rest up. And then I have Emmerich is like, come see me. And then we have a fight. And I loved that. I was really happy about it because Emmerich, Rook tries to get Emmerich to say, I love you. Like, we're like about to go to battle.
Oh, shit.
And we might die. And it's pretty serious. And Rook is trying to get Emmerich to like open up and say that we have these deep feelings for each other. And Emmerich hesitates because what Emmerich wants to talk about is our age gap and the fact that he feels guilty that he is going to die before me, and that we are like even if we survive tomorrow, that like he's gonna leave me alone, and like he wants Rook to acknowledge that and to like think about it before we go in too deep with each other. And we do really fight about it. Rook tells him off and storms out and like grumbles about it on his way, but like out of the lighthouse, like, and I thought it was really good. And then we get banter about it the next time we're out fighting. What?
So I was like, this guy is just oddly well written.
Yeah,
I gotta look up who the writer is.
Yeah. He's
the writer is Sylvia Fiktukti.
Okay.
Who wrote Josephine from Inquisition.
Gorgeous.
Also wrote the quests In Hushed Whispers and Champions of the Just.
Oh.
So
the best,
it's just peak.
The best one.
Yeah. And then exclusively wrote Emmerich in the Veilguard. And I'm like, oh, okay. So they were like, let's just bring the hero in for this guy.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, the two of the best quests in Dragon Age. That's crazy.
Because I was like, it feels different. Like everything around Emmerich just feels like Dragon Age, and it's like, oh, it's because they have a writer that is exceedingly talented,
and a fight that's not immediately resolved. We go back out into the world, and he's like, look, about our conversation, like when we get back home, let's talk about it more. And we banter about it. And then the night before, we do so there's the first big quest after the point of no return, and then there's another one after that. We have like another night, and he brings me to the Grand Necropolis one more time to consult the spirits there on like what we're gonna do, and then we bone down pretty hard. Nice. Again, still very thin, very chaste, but
of course, ultimately, it's a YA novel, so we can't expect it.
Yeah, but ultimately, a good romance arc that I felt really satisfied with. In the really end, cool. So I've made a good decision for myself in who to romance. I'm happy that I did it. Yep. Emmerich, MVP, Sylvia, thank you so much.
Truly.
Yeah, thank you for that. More games. Please let me fuck an old man. I'm just gonna say this now. Let me fuck an old man.
Free Dillin from their shackles.
Free me. Also, could stand a fucking old woman. I don't mean Win, who's 33. I mean,
I mean Johanna.
Johanna. Let me fuck an old woman, please.
Yeah, truly.
Think on it. Get back to me. All right. Who should we do next?
Let's go Davrin.
Davrin
is a fairly good story with implications that I really like as the Grey Warden's #1 boy. Gloomhowler is a whole thing. This is another story that I thought was really interesting. I
thought this was really flat. I thought it was like I thought it had like sprinkles of like a lot of quests in this had like sprinkles of something interesting, but never really.
Well, that's the thing. Act 2, I was like, oh, we're into the Grey Wardens thing, and the Grey Wardens keep the bodies of all the archdemons that they kill, and they've locked them in these like weird tombs, and there's this woman here who's this like weird demon who's talking about freeing all the griffins, and then it turns out that she is a old Grey Warden that was forced into blood magic, and then she cast blood magic on all of the griffins to like blight them so that they would like live. And this is a whole thing about like twisted like perceptions and stuff that I was like,
what is blight anyway?
It's nothing, and like, this is for the people at home. You and me have restarted Dragon Age Origins. We have started playing a Koosland run of Origins because I really wanted to replay it, and then we talk 100% of the time, so I was like, hey, do you want to play through? In the opening bits of Origins, the Blight is so interesting and weird. They do a lot of fun lore stuff, and then to have just come off of this game, I want to die. I fucking hate it.
One thing is that it really highlights for me, to go right back to Origins and open it up and just like hearing people talk, is the consistency through which the first 3 games keep, and this is something David Gator has spoken about, is that like the characters consistently throughout the first 3 games all speak a very particular kind of old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
With intent. The characters in Veilguard all speak modernly and casually, and like any sort of like fantasy cadence has been stripped away from the game. And David Gator, like I've seen people counteract that criticism online by being like, well, Alistair said funny things and slang things sometimes. And David Gator has said that like you do want to have characters be able to break those rules, but you want it to be rare and you want it to be specific to that character. If you do it so much, you break the illusion. So that's what Veilguard has lost, is they're not letting characters occasionally break the rule of language to do a funny little bit. They've stripped it completely.
They have no laws of language.
Exactly. And so I wasn't sure if I had like picked up on that sentiment until we reopened Origins and I heard even just side characters speaking, and I was
talking
like,
in the,
oh my God, it just like the atmosphere of this game is so immediately clear to me.
It's fantastic. It's an outstanding opening. And
okay, so Davrin, sorry, I
anyway, yeah. So Davrin, Gloomhowler, this ex like Grey Warden who went mad because of all this stuff. You find out where she is, and she's in the Deep Roads. You go down. You have I have notes. I really liked. I really like the idea of Davrin's missions. I liked like the sprinkles is because it was the first. Davrin and Emmerich's were the first sprinkles of me being like, oh, okay, there's chance of good stuff. I don't think Davrin closes in a way that Emmerich does, but I think Davrin's big final decision is the coolest shit.
I did like that final decision. This one I liked, yeah.
You go down into the Deep Roads. You find where this Gloomhowler is. Specifically, a weird thing. A guy called Lucas, he left because he was getting the calling, and then he came back.
Which has never happened before. To anyone's knowledge.
Yeah. This is one of the things where I pinged this as weird because everyone was like, oh, you're really brave for coming back from the calling. And I'm like, no. If someone's gone to the calling, they have to stay there. If he's still having the calling, he's not brave for coming back. He's going to kill you.
Like something is wrong, or are we wrong about the calling? Like, let's dig. Like, we need to know immediately more information from this man.
But that's not what this mission is about. So we don't really. Yeah.
But he does say something. He says that like he saw something down there that like they're not dead. He gives like what does he say?
I'm not sure.
But yeah, so he came back to like bring a warning.
You go down to check on what's happening, and you find a huge amount of wardens, all of whom have seemingly had the calling, and then this Gloomhowler, whose name I forget what her name is, but she manipulates the calling into having them be in this weird half-life stasis, which is a thing I think is weird and interesting. Like, she uses her old blood magic to essentially cancel the calling, but not cancel it in a way where it's like it's cured. They are just now thralls to her. A thing which I think is the first warden is alive and trapped under here. And because I punched him, he is completely incoherent and makes no sense. I got a little pop-up.
And I reasoned with him, and so
So that choice
he was
did
able to give
actually
me
have
information. Yeah.
The choice did have actual ramifications, and I'm really stoked about that fact. I was like,
Yeah, me
I was
too.
really happy by it.
I was a little pissed off that the game had to tell me that was why, because I would have.
Yes. This is the thing which we slightly disagree on, because I think this game does it too much, and that's true, and it's a bit childish when it does. But there are some things where I'm glad to know that the reason this is happening is because of a previous decision. Like, it's like this thing is come through. Like, it's like, oh, because you did this, he's completely incoherent. Even though it's like a thing where it's like, I would like to find that out for myself. I like the fact that it's like, oh, I wonder what happens if I don't do this.
I think the reason that this happens is because this game there is so little consequence to your actions in most of the game that then it's like, oh, we'll point out, but
that this is
But it, to me, is just we have to open the schools. I can't with this.
It is tough.
It's tough. I'm struggling with it.
All of the wardens who have been anti-callinged have recreated Weishaupt.
Yes, a corrupted Weishaupt.
Which I think, again, is a thing that's really cool.
Yeah,
they believe that Weishaupt was under attack, so they just rebuilt it and believe that that's full Weishaupt. And I was like, this is a cool, in the hands of like, rather outside of shareholder hands and executives' hands, this would be a cool, interesting storyline, and like a place to be like, you know, they've gone back to their base urges, and as Grey Wardens, it's to protect Weishaupt, and so they've just remade it in the Deep Roads with wood and like broken swords and stuff. That's cool as hell. Love that.
Yeah.
Then you fight her, because her goal is to blight all of the Griffins to just blight all the Griffins, I guess. To like control them and free them. She keeps saying her motivation isn't super important.
It's not clear at all.
Yeah, it's not clear. It's a weird thing, but there's a very cartoony end where she like very slowly goes to stab Asan, and then Davrin's like, no, stop, and then she does, and I'm like, why would she stop though? She doesn't care about you. She's supposed to be this like very evil woman. So I didn't like that end, but that's a very minor criticism.
Yeah.
And then you have the choice of freeing the Griffins, say go protect nature, and you're going to be guardians of like nature in the Arlathan forest, or giving them back to the Grey Wardens to do what they were like bred to do over, you know, however many years. What did you do?
I had them go to Arlathan Forest to be caretakers for other animals.
Fascinating. I put them back with the Grey Wardens.
Because you love the Grey Wardens.
I fucking love the Grey Wardens. I'm. If there is an additional Dragon Age game, it'll take me 1,000 years to play it. But if choices matter, I'd love to see a fucking Grey Warden riding a Griffin. Are you kidding? Oh my god, that'd be the coolest thing in the fucking world. Duncan would be so proud of me.
Duncan would be proud. I think the thing is that I don't think this game gave me that, but in previous games, it's been as in 2 and 3, in 2 and Inquisition, we get this new perspective, because in Origins you are a warden, and you're a warden during a blight. You are the wardens at their needed moment, like in time. You are the wardens at their best. In 2 and Inquisition, we see from the outside perspective, we start to see some of the sheen
you see
that
the wardens aren't actually good, and
they're not necessarily good, and that they have a like problematic history, and they do things that, you know, call in Inquisition, it's sort of like a metaphor for the potential for the Inquisition to become a corrupt organization, and the wardens can do the same. You know, Sarah speaks on how, like the wardens stop blights and everything, but before they do that, they come in and rob you. They rob your whole town. And like, you know, just like all of these different perspectives on the wardens. And I'm like, you know what? The wardens have stopped a blight. They've stopped blights in the time post Griffins. I don't think that the wardens need to have a working class of non-consenting animals. I think that maybe let's just we've brought this entire species back and we're gonna send them to war. Nah, not doing it.
I am also playing a Grey Warden, so a lot of my choices were Rook, who is like a ride or die Grey Warden. These people saved me, and I've had no character development throughout this game, so I'm into Grey Warden.
Yeah, just
life.
do Grey Warden shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Who's next?
You want to do Tosh? Just get them out of the way.
Yeah.
Do you want to take this one? Do you have notes on Tosh?
So with Tosh, it's starts out so the beginning of it, I guess, is that we're gonna this dragon is missing, and it looks like there's evidence that's been taken by the Antam.
Yeah,
which the Antam has now that's just what we see of Qunari now. It's just
evil Qunari is evil the Antam. Qunari.
They're the only people we meet in Tevinter are Venatori, and the only Qunari people we meet are the Antam. Yeah. Just nameless, faceless bad guy. So the Antam have taken this dragon, so we're gonna track her down and we want essentially to take the dragon. Oh, because the Antam are going to use the dragon to kill a bunch of people, so we've got to get to it first. And so we kill the dragon. Tosh is pretty proud of us, which is fun. I guess. And then Tosh is then we go to dinner with Tosh's mom for Tosh to come out of the closet as non-binary, which as a word just sounds so absurd in this universe that it makes my internalized homophobia crop up. I am like, maybe I'm gonna go back into the closet. Actually. So they come out to their mom, and this frustrated me because this was written so poorly that I don't even know where to start, because Tosh's mom starts to tell Tosh that, hey, in Qunari culture, there's a word for people like you. And then Tosh storms out and is like, I can't believe you. It's
bonkers.
It's like, I don't understand what message this game thinks it is sending with this storyline. I am like there is nothing offensive that comes out of their mom's mouth, and their mom is about to drop something that would have actually been an interesting thing, which is like that Qunari culture is notoriously problematic in a lot of ways. It's a very highly militaristic culture from what we've seen in the past, but they do have this very unique philosophy on gender, which is that your gender is kind of depicted by your actions, not what body you're born in. We learn that in Origins from Sten, because Sten assigns you, if you play a female warden, he assigns you male because you're a fighter. And he's just like, fighters are men. So you are a man then? And you're like, no. And he's like, I don't understand. So you get assigned a gender by Sten because your gender is it's a different outlook than the rest of the cultures that we know. So that would have been an interesting thing to play on. We almost get it acknowledged, but then Tosh acts like they've been
a teenager,
they act like a teenager, and they storm out, and it's truly heinous. And then of course their mom immediately goes missing. There's some blood, and we're like, oh no. And so we got to track her down. And I guess the Antam took her, I think.
Yeah, the Antam took her, but specifically someone who is claiming to be the Dragon King.
Oh, right, the Dragon King,
which is ridiculous because dragons don't have kings; they have queens, which is a line that is brought up so many times in this quest, and it's like, I get it, gang, I get it.
Yep. So,
and you go and you find their mum, and Isabella leads this like little rebellion, in a move that I didn't really like. I just feel like Isabella wouldn't do this, but maybe she would. Who knows?
Whatever.
Anyway, you go and you fight this dragon king. Oh, well, the Dragon King kills their mum.
Yeah, she does.
In a move that I was like, that's crazy. That guy fucking one-handed slams her head into a stone tablet in a move that I was like, that's Game of Thrones brutal. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Taj screams in a big way. Then you go and you fight and you kill them, and it's like, dragons don't have kings, they have queens, and then you kill them.
Yeah.
Then
cool.
Tasha's like, should I be Ravani or Quinari? And this decision was one where I was like, why are you asking me?
Why can't you be both?
Why can't
is
you do
this
both
decision?
Things? Yeah.
Would have been a really interesting story, again, about conflict between two lineages, two heritages.
Yeah.
Or also a better queer story. Queer people.
No, you have to pick
queer people from problematic cultures that have conservative pieces to them. That's a story that I actually want to see, because that's something that a lot of us can relate to, a thing about like holding on to your culture while also learning to critique it and to be yourself within it and to find acceptance of both is a very, very relatable queer story. But we don't get that for some reason. Instead, we have to say, you should be one of these. Yep. I picked Qunari because I
picked Ravani. This is crazy. We have done the opposite decisions for each one of these so far. That's really fun.
My philosophy for every choice I'm making is which one feels like I'm disagreeing with the philosophy of the game in all the choices I'm making.
Yeah.
Because I picked Qunari because I'm like, clearly the game is trying to tell me that Qunari culture is bad and problematic and Ravani culture is not. And I'm like, no, I fundamentally disagree with that. Qunari, you can be queer and be Qunari. That would be the more interesting story.
This choice for me, I'll admit, I'm super not bought into this story, so I simply didn't care, and I just clicked one of them.
Sure, yeah, nothing happens about it, so
no, nothing does. But then, you get a Tosh will return kind of stinger at the end of their story. You get hit up by either Ravani or Qunari people to decipher this like stone tablet that Tosh gets. That is the one that was used to beat their mother to death. Because it has some stuff about who Tosh is and the fact that they can breathe fire and how that's... because the Dragon King talks about like, we are the Dragon
King can also breathe fire.
And is also getting other people to be able to breathe fire. That's a big part of what they're doing, is they're getting others to breathe fire. Anyway, you meet these people, and then they say that Tosh was made, or the Qunari who can breathe fire were made to fight against the devouring storm, and how that's a thing that's going to be coming. That is coming, and you have to be prepared and ready. And then Tosh like storms off and then yells about it, about how their mother left them and blah blah blah. So that's a fun. We won't see again, but maybe in a book we'll get the conclusion of that storyline. The weakest of all of the stories, I actually hated every moment I spent with Tash.
Yeah.
I truly despised every angle. They spent 100% of their time whining instead of doing interesting things with their storyline, and I was sick of it by the end.
It's really disappointing. Truthfully, it makes me mad. Who else? Let's go next.
Lucanus! Now, this is an interesting one for me.
Yeah.
Because Lucanus has all of the basis of being a story that I would love. It's got assassin houses that act like nobles. It's got like weird blood magic. It's got like betrayal in a family. It's got a spirit inhabiting him. I didn't connect with this story in a way that I wanted to. I don't think this is necessarily bad, but it was during the big final. So okay. Lucanus finds out. Lucanus is trying to find the person that imprisoned them.
Yeah.
Ends up finding this blood mage called Zara. Goes to Zara, confronts her. You have a fight. Then Ilario, who's Lucanus' cousin, pops in, kills her before you can speak to her, and then controls Lucanus a little bit with blood magic. The cool thing, he has a pin that he pricks his hand, so his hand starts to bleed, and then he can cast blood magic. I thought that's a little cool, like, kind of trait. I thought that was fun.
Yeah. And
then you're like, so who did imprison me? And then you find out it's Ilario, obviously. Your grandmother, Lucanus' grandmother, the first Talon, turns out to be alive. You go, you find her. You then go and confront Ilario, because Ilario is becoming first Talon. So he needed her to die and you out the way. So he's about to appoint himself first Talon. You go back to where Lucanus was raised, in this beautiful manor house. You're like scaling the rooftops of Treviso, and then there's this really cool scene. It's this big like theater auditorium Colosseum style thing where Ilario is like addressing everyone. Is like, I should be first Talon of the Antivan Crows. There's a bunch of different families and houses of assassins there, and I was like, man, this looks like it'd be so fucking cool. Like, what an interesting like world build of a million different houses of assassins. And for some reason I just thought the problem is that they introduce something and then solve it immediately, so I couldn't like have time to digest like
and be in it.
And it's like, I would have liked to like, God, hate to say it, I would have liked this mission to be a little longer. I would have liked to have to go to different houses and like try to convince them to be on our side and take us to like in the court of the big fight and do things like that, which would be really cool. And it's like, oh, well, these guys are like...
Or to find secrets on and like find blackmail. Do something a little Antivan Crowy about it.
Exactly.
Like blackmail some people, like find out some secrets.
And that's it.
But the Antivan Crows aren't criminals anymore. They're not.
They're city guard. They're city watch.
Yeah.
And that's it. And they're just like, and the problem is like, man, again, it's the whole thing is like, I feel like I really should be bought in. Spite doesn't really get like, you know, Spite is just kind of there. There's a bit where you go into Lucanus's mind palace, and you like speak to a bunch of people. And I was like, what are we doing here? Has Lucanus been feeling like this whole time? Is that like I just didn't get the read?
We never got any indication that he was feeling this way, but now we're here, and Lucanus
is like scared and guilty of and or whatever. And then we solve it immediately. We find it out, we solve it within 15 minutes, and he's feeling better, and then it's like, all right, let's go kill Ilario, I guess. Let's go kill Ilario, I guess. I say we get to the final bit and the choice is imprison him or like free him or something. And I'm like, kill him. Kill this guy. We've just killed hundreds of people. Like, we had a whole fight. I killed like 15 Venatori. He's been working with Venatori.
He's been working with Venatori. He imprisoned like the first Talon. He imprisoned Lucanus, and he was about to kill the first Talon. Like, just kill him.
And the thing is like, if people are like, yeah, but because Lucanus says, oh, I don't want to kill him, I want to imprison him and have him watch me win. It's like, okay, have me say you should kill him. And depending on the relationship I have with Lucanus, he can say, yeah, I'm going to fucking kill this guy. Or say, no, I'm actually going to get one up on him. I'm actually going to keep this guy alive and he's going to watch me beat him at every angle. Yeah. That's what's more interesting about it. The fact that I couldn't say kill him, and admittedly, it's a bit of a Dragon Age 2 problem. I have slaughtered hundreds of people. To get here now, I've slaughtered so many people. What's one more guy? Because you know him? Who cares? Lucanus, you're an assassin. Grow a pair. Like, get over it, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway, that stressed me out. What do you think about this storyline?
No, I feel exactly the same. It's like it's another thing where it's almost interesting. It's almost good. And then it's not. But I had him imprison him.
I had him imprison him. Hey, same choice. High five.
Woo. And
the first time we've done that.
Yeah, and then the first Talon is back, and yay.
And then the first Talon assigns Lucanus as first Talon. So now Lucanus is first Talon. Yeah.
Great. Incredible.
Do you know what would be cool? Would have loved as Zevran. Just to turn up. Mentioned, even.
Yeah. No, but they don't want to know about whether or not Zevran is even alive, because we could kill him. We could kill him in scene 1.
God. I mean, I guess. I mean, just stop being a coward.
So.
Then the only person left is Nev.
Yes.
Yep. So I did almost all of Nev's things except for the big final choice, because it never ticked over for me. So
what part did you do up to?
So Nev is looking for a blood mage who is doing a lot of evil stuff with Venatori. You find that she's in the catacomb somewhere, and you can... Oh, she's also controlling the leader of this group called the Threads. I freed the guy of the Threads, and I said, hey, we have to save Minrathis by any means possible. So we joined together, so he likes me. He finds us a way in through the catacombs to this evil blood mage lady. Mm-hmm. We go through and we see a bunch of different people who are being controlled by blood magic, and they're like mocking Nev as we're walking past in a pretty cool visual, I thought. Nev and this blood mage have a laser fight. This is another good versus evil thing, which I hated like crazy. Yeah. Then the Threads afterward. This is a weird bit as well. There's you beat the blood mage. Nev is a detective. Is like, it is a detective that's working in Minrathis.
Yes.
Nev looks at the Threads. The Threads are walking. They put a knife to this blood mage's throat, and Nev turns around and walks away as the Threads slaughter this woman.
Aelia, yeah.
The detective gets their villain murdered and walks away cold-heartedly. The assassin imprisons his lead villain. What happened there? That should be the opposite. Anyway, and then after that, I don't know what Nev's choice was. I don't know what Nev's big decision was. Between the two of them, because I didn't get the decision, because I didn't get the next conversation. I did everything. I beat the blood mage.
You beat Aelia.
And then you go back and there's supposed to be a conversation that procs, and mine never did.
Right. And we both let Minrathis fall, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So, after we kill Aelia, I actually don't remember there being a choice. I don't know
maybe
that
we
there is
can.
one. I think it's just that there's a different conversation that happens based on whether or not you saved Minrathous or Treviso. Because I don't recall really making a big decision.
Maybe she can't because we didn't save Minrathous, so she's hardened and can't make a big decision.
Conversation with her.
But there wasn't a big decision because she never became a hero of the Veilguard for me.
Yeah. No, I just go have a conversation with her and give her a present and then and make her feel a little better for all of the things that are on her shoulders, and then and that's it.
Sure.
That's the end. And then she becomes a hero of the Veilguard. I don't really remember a big decision.
Wow, interesting.
I think the choice with her is still that if you save Minrathous, you have a different conversation with her, where I'm looking here is that like you spend time in Docktown.
Well, I didn't get that one.
Yeah, we wouldn't because we didn't save Minrathous.
Okay.
So you get a different scene if you save Minrathous, and you get a different one. We get a conversation at the lighthouse if you save Treviso.
Sure.
Yeah, overall, that was kind of a nothing quest in my opinion, but it was fine. Blood Mage, whatever, we kill her. That's the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, extracurricular activities. What do you have to say before we go into the storyline?
So we're not done with extracurriculars because Solas is memories.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because I didn't do this. This is for me extracurricular.
Yeah. So the personal quests were overall pretty meh. Definitely Emmerich is a shining light in an otherwise really disappointing lineup of personal quests and people I don't feel attached to whatsoever. Then I think the first two you get no matter what, because you get one that like that unlocks the quest, and then you get one from the Inquisitor that the Inquisitor gives to you.
Yes.
So we see that Solas confronts Elgar'nan and Mythal, and we see that Elgar'nan, that Mythal was ruling alongside Elgar'nan.
Mm-hmm.
And Elgar'nan refers to Solas as being like Mythal's lapdog, that like Solas was working for her, not a god on his own. And then we see that Solas and Mythal like are meeting in secret, and that he's telling her that the Evanuris are trying to use the Blight as a weapon. She doesn't believe him. And he's begging her to leave the other gods behind and stay with him. And she says no, that she's going to investigate his claims, but that but she's going to stay with them. Solas is referred to as love by Mythal. And so we're unsure if that's like a romantic thing or if it's just whatever. We keep finding them. So I think that's what you get up to. I keep finding them. Oh, hang on a second.
Oh, huh?
Okay. It's not. I just wanted, I got a thing and I wanted to make sure it was not
okay,
urgent. So then the third one that we find is Solas is doing the original ritual to lock away the Evanuris. The intent is always to imprison them. Something, though, in this memory goes wrong, and the Fade gets locked away with the ritual. So it's not like it's not like Solas did this and then regretted it. Solas did this and didn't intend for the Fade to get sectioned off with the gods. I find this to be a little bit of a departure from what the game was building up to. I think that it should have been that Solas did this and regretted it because he that's how it was framed to us in the past.
Yeah.
Also, saying that the Fade is imprisoned along with the gods means that all of those times that we've been in the Fade, they should have been there.
The gods should have been
the
there?
gods should have been there. And that's never been what the Fade is. And we still have access to the Fade.
We're in the Fade.
We're in the Fade all the. No,
like,
we're
the
at the
lighthouse
crossroads is not the
okay.
Fade. It's
okay.
a thinner place where the veil is thinner.
Sure.
And we're as close because Corypheus wanted to go to the crossroads and find another way into the Fade.
Very
anyway,
good.
I don't think that makes sense, but I'm trying to buy in. Whatever. Okay, so that's that one. Then we find another one that is a vision of the first elves are. This is where we learn that the first elves are spirits, and Mythal is gonna encourage Solas to take a physical form,
made of lyrium.
Yes. And use lyrium to build a body, and the ground shakes and everything. So we learn the origin of the elves is that they're spirits, and the first war that the elves fought when they became mortal is against the Titans. Solas didn't want to do this. Mythal convinces him. Then we learn that Solas gives Mythal the lyrium dagger, which can be used to nullify the Titans and cleaving their spirits from their body. So the Titans are severed from their body. That's how the elves win this war. And he warns that using it will mean that the severed dreams will fester and become a blight, but that it's the only way to end. So the Titans' madness to the blight from Solas's words is that like this is where the blight comes from. It's like an origin from separating the Titans from their souls. And then the deepest regret is Solas in Trespasser, killing Mythal to absorb her power. And this is how, Solas went from being a regular mage who had lost most of his abilities and his powers and was not the god he once was, to the god version of him that we see in Trespasser. So we see that scene.
Reads to me.
Yeah. That I totally am on board with. So
I'm sorry. Really quick.
Yeah.
I thought the lyrium dagger was the red lyrium idol. Was that not confirmed?
So here's the thing. That is what that's what our Peepaw told us in his infirmary. But either that is a lie that Solas was telling us, but it's very unclear, poorly delivered,
or it's just
whatever.
Not, yeah.
Or it's a contradiction. It doesn't, but it's one of those two.
Okay.
So then after that, we meet Morrigan in the crossroads. She has one more thing to tell us. There's a fragment of Mythal in the crossroads somewhere. Okay. So just like there was a fragment, and Morrigan also says that there's a fragment of Mythal in her. Now, how? Why? Because Morrigan could have drank from the Well of Sorrows, in which case she would have had a fragment of Mythal within her already.
Yeah.
Now there's a new other fragment of Mythal within her, and we don't know why or how at all. But whatever. Morrigan has a fragment of Mythal in her. There's another one here at the crossroads, and we have to go find it. We go and meet Mythal, and I just want to say, Kate Mulgrew the woman that you are. Thank you for 3 years of the most interesting and complicated woman I've like character possibly of all time. I know that the writing has a big part to that, but Kate Mulgrew's choices as a voice actor, the depth and like and mystery and that she put into Flemeth and therefore Mythal's character cannot be more appreciated. It is so impactful on the story of a woman, a woman who, as a god, was betrayed by all those closest to her, who then found a home within a woman who was also betrayed by all those close to her. And the two of them became vengeful and beautiful, but also protected people. Like at every moment protected the world. And that was a beautiful story, told beautifully and delivered with some of the best voice acting I've ever heard in my life. We meet this fragment of Mythal, and she is a pretty little girl. She's pretty. She's so pretty. She's so pretty and nice and loving. And she's a sweet and she's a sweet, lovely mom. And fine.
Oh no.
Whatever.
Oh my god, I'm looking. I did some Googling and I'm looking at her.
And then there's a weird thing that happens where she agrees to help you only if you can convince her, and you have to choose like the right sequence of dialogue options, otherwise she will attack you. I didn't really know what they were looking for in these options, and all of the dialogue options seemed stupid, so I just said whatever, and then she disagreed and fought me. She turned into a high dragon and I killed her. And then you still get the essence of her fragment. And then it's like, you could possibly use this at the end of the game. And I was like, okay, fine. Whatever. Anyway, that's why I started the episode with misogyny. Because Mythal, being a god of motherhood and justice, should not mean that she's not allowed to be angry. And like, there is a theory that that these games hated Anders so much that they erased the existence of justice and vengeance as a concept. It's people will say they hated that blonde man so much that they erased his
his soul.
They erased his whole conflict. And I think that that's just another thing that happened here. So that's fine. So now we go into the final 2 quests of the game, which I agree with you, Robin. I think they're both really strong adventures.
However, before we move on to the main storyline, Dillin, I have a confession.
What?
I've been dead this entire time, and actually, you playing the Dragon Age games have been you talking to yourself, and you've just kind of interpreted this as me talking back at you.
I have never been more upset to be right about something in my life. As I was playing since last time, because I was playing and doing these quests seemingly forever, a never-ending trek to get these quests done. And so I was playing for so long, and no other opportunity to talk to Varric came up in that entire time. And I was like, okay, this is stupid. I'm like, anyway, it's still stupid, even with the reveal, because why am I supposed to emotionally care about this? If I've never met Varric before in previous games, if I'm just picking up the Veilguard now, or if I'm playing this as what it's claiming to be, a role-playing game, and I'm playing Rook, I've known Varric for a couple of months. I apparently love him like crazy, and I never speak to him. And that
you love Varric more than the big problem with this reveal is. Okay, all right. Before we talk about how stupid the reveal is, you do one quest beforehand.
Right, You're first
going
point of no return
to kill Gil'nain. That's the goal.
Ghilan'nain,
you have a really great a choice that I think is two choices in this first part of this mission that I think are both genuinely very interesting. This is going to be a great conversation. These last two missions are going to be a great conversation point for when we play Mass Effect 2. Because these two missions are ripped almost directly from Mass Effect 2 of there is a problem, two people know how to solve the problem, who is going to solve the problem? And depending on what you pick, XYZ happens.
Yeah.
The first thing is there's a lot of Darkspawn. We need a distraction. So Ghilan'nain isn't going to wonder where we are. Harding is like, I'm a scout. This is my job. Davrin's like, there are a lot of Darkspawn. Let me take it. Who did you pick?
Scout Harding. The job does need a scout. She's 100% correct.
I picked Davrin because I was like, I'm a Grey Warden. If we come across the Archdemon, I can take it. If Davrin comes across the Archdemon, Davrin can take it. We have a Grey Warden leading each.
That makes perfect sense.
Team.
Yeah.
Which obviously isn't gonna happen because it's not gonna determine that you picked a Grey Warden. But it was a thing where I was like, just in case. And that's the thing. This is why these missions are frustrating. I wasn't thinking in the Veilguard terms. I wasn't thinking like, well, this is a game and they're not going to know that I'm a Grey Warden, so we're not going to meet the Archdemon now. I was thinking like a role-playing game, and I was like, oh, well, I mean, I guess I'm a Grey Warden, you're a Grey Warden, let's lead these two teams and have them split. And I was like, oh, cool, they're making me play a character. This is crazy. They made me think in universe, not in the Veilguard, and I got really excited by that fact.
Yes.
Also, Harding Emmerich are my two. That's my team. Is Harding Emmerich. So I also was like a little selfishly. I was like, I kind of want Harding and Emmerich to be the two that are free.
Emmerich and Lucanus has been my team.
I do switch Harding with Lucanus occasionally, but I was like, I'm romancing Harding. Harding is slightly higher level, so I was like, I'm going to pick Harding. You pick one of them, and then the rest. Then most of the team goes that way. You and two others go your way. Fight through a lot of Darkspawn. You all meet up at another point after the distraction has happened. There is a door that is locked with very like high spooky magic.
Mm-hmm.
Balara is like, I know ancient elven artifacts, I can do it. Nev is like, yes, but this is blood magic stuff, and I'm the mage that knows how to like disable blood magic things. And then it's another, who are you going to pick? Who did you end up picking?
I picked Balara. Balara's whole thing is doing this.
Balara as well.
Yeah, that seemed like a no-brainer to me. But these are interesting choices that had a pretty severe impact on the adventure. So like, as you're going into fight, I think the team gets split, which is fun. You encounter them like as you're going through this, like and fighting people, and like you get, you're on like opposite sides of a wall, and like Harding and the team have to like figure out a way to unlock it while you're fighting off enemies. It's very good. Feels very good. And then I think the first thing that happens is that is the thing with Balara, right?
When you unlock the thing, Elgar'nan is like, oh shit, my thing's unlocked. I actually know where you are. Hey, you have an elf. This elf should be back with her people and then grabs her and then pulls her through an Alluvian.
Yes.
Back again. And then you lose Balara. Balara's out
Balara's
again.
gone.
She is like, you can't select her as a teammate again, and your whole team are freaking the hell out. Like, oh, this is it. This is the fight. Like, we're about to throw down. Everyone's like, oh, we have to go save Balara, and I think Rook does a cool thing where they're like, nope, we kill Ghilan'nain, then we work on getting Balara. She is not a priority right now. And I was like, hell yeah, that's the Rook that I wanted, is someone that's like, the mission is first, and that's what matters. But you don't
get a say in that. It's just what default happens.
It's what default happens, but it's frustrating because it's the only default that's been in character for me. The person that I wanted, which I've not been able to make any.
These two end quests seems totally different in like in a good way.
These two quests, I'm telling you, are like pre-2017. Like, this is what the finale of this game is going to be, because they were so fun. And it's like the choices were like impactful. I was like nervous a lot of the time. Like, I was full strategizing, planning who I was going to send what and where and what I was doing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So then we get to so what's happening is Elgar'nan is building a
lyrium
dagger. And while he's doing that, we have to kill Ghilan'nain. We have our opportunity to kill her.
Because if we can kill Ghilan'nain, he can't finish the ritual.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going towards her. He's distracted by this ritual that he's doing. He can't, and like, we can fight her without him having the ability to interfere also. So it's like our opportunity, our moment.
He also pulls the moon in front of the sun in a visual that I know is so overplayed, and I always love it. I love an eclipse.
Yeah.
I love a red sky. Like, it's cool. I think it was fun.
Yeah. So in the fight, the fight with Ghilan'nain is pretty interesting, I thought.
Yeah, it's great. You start alone because she captures everyone.
The whole team.
And then you start alone. You slowly are freeing people. And then you free Lucanus, because Lucanus has to be the one to kill her. Because not has to be, but he's the one that's like, well, I failed last time.
He's got our lyrium dagger.
Oh, yes. Oh, and also what's fun, after the Balara Nev thing, Lucanus grabs the lyrium dagger and leaves as well.
Yes.
So you also can't select Lucanus because he's like, I need to prep. I need to do assassin stuff, which is great. We love people. We love an assassin doing assassin things.
Yeah.
Very Final Fantasy VIII, which is a reference that you'll never get. But there's a scene where there's someone who's trying to assassinate someone, and it's a cool setup.
Yeah. Anyway, so
you free everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Then you kind of get knocked on your ass, and Lucanus and, for me, Davrin begin fighting Ghilan'nain together. Lucanus gets captured and is like unable to do it. So then Davrin says whatever it takes, leaps at Ghilan'nain, stabs her. Ghilan'nain turns around and rips Davrin apart. He fully dies. Then Asan. Oh, does this happen to you as well?
This happens to Harding. Harding gets stabbed 1,000,000 times and then falls into an abyss.
Oh my god, that's crazy. It was Davrin for me.
Mm-hmm.
Davrin dies. I think Asan then dies, because Davrin dies, falls, and then Asan flies to Davrin into like Darkspawn mush, and then I think there's like a comment later of like, oh yeah, they both died.
Yeah.
But then because of that, Lucanus then does his cool wing like crow thing, leaps at Ghilan'nain and fully stabs and kills her in a fucking cool mission.
Yeah, it was cool. Elgar'nan shows actual emotion about his sister dying, which is great.
Yep.
He has to leave. The ritual doesn't get to do the ritual, and he doesn't get to finish it, and he leaves and is like, you're gonna fucking pay for that.
And then he turns up and throws you into where Solas is, into the Fade, I believe. because then Solas is like,
No,
then you have a
no.
whole conversation with Solas. No?
So at that moment is when Solas does this to you. Solas is the one who does this to you. So you kind of fall on your ass and then you wake up in the Fade. And
because I thought that Elgar'nan is the one to originally put you in the Fade, and then Solas is like, good, you're here. And then does the thing,
Yeah. So now you are there and you see Lucan. It looks like Lucanus's body dead on the ground. But then you look back and it is Varric. And we get the reveal that Varric's been dead the whole time.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, we don't. It's this first hint that he's been dead the whole time. Solas has a whole thing where it's kind of a cool visual. You're like on a rock, and then a bunch of statues of people of like Balara for me, and then it was Davrin, and then like and then it was Varric, and it's people who you failed, kind of drag you under into the Fate. And Solas is like, I'm in a prison of my own regret, and I needed someone to regret something as much as me so that they could take my place, and I've molded you to be that.
Yes.
This on the surface is really cool. I haven't regretted any decision I've made so far. And that's not to say, oh, well, yeah, you haven't, but the character has. Every character who died was like, I want to do this. I'm willing to go and make this play.
Also, I felt like I was thinking as this was happening, I was like, if the game had made me care about the characters more, this would really be landing for me. Like if I was and had felt really attached to these characters like I have in previous games, and then they died or bad things happened to them based on my decisions, which also I don't really feel like a lot of it is really based on my decisions. It's like sort of like, then I really, really would have cared. And I was like, as it was happening, I was like, this would be landing for me big time if the game put more effort into it.
I think what this needed, because so then you go through this like Fade of your own regret.
Yeah.
You confront Balara. Balara says the most frustrating thing to me that was said in this entire game. She says, I'm sorry to make you feel sad, and then says like, but I trusted you and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, if you're trying to make me feel regret, don't say sorry to make you feel sad. Don't try to cushion it. Just hit me with the punch.
Give me, yes.
Yeah, like, and it's part of the fact that this game really doesn't want to like hurt or offend anyone, and it's like it's trying to couch everything, and her saying sorry to make you feel sad really pissed me off.
Yeah, me too.
Then you see Nev. Well, we both did, because then she's talking about how it's like, oh well, Minrathous was my home, and you let it be destroyed, and then it's Balara. Oh, it's Balara Davrin. Davrin doesn't care. Like, in a weird prison of regret, Davrin is fine with it. He's like, no, I wanted to, like, this was my choice. Like, I decided that I wanted to do this, like, and whatever it takes. I'm a fucking Grey Warden, and that's what we did together.
Here's my interpretation. I think you kind of are skipping over because in the beginning of it, you're hearing their voices, and they're really ripping into you. They're like, this is your fault. You caused me to die. Minrathous is gone because of you. Like, Harding for me says like, like I'm dead because of you. She says it a bunch in like the atmosphere. And then I think maybe I don't think it's delivered perfectly well, but I think that the point is that to escape the prison, you have to actually confront them and talk to them and realize that you are not really the cause of all of this suffering. That was you like telling yourself that. And then like you go and talk to them, and they kind of soften it,
I think I would have really liked, I'd have liked more decisions in this game. And the thing is again, it's like, oh, this is a prison of your own regret. And again, it's like, Davrin chose to die. in that moment. Like, he says whatever it takes and then jumped, and that wasn't my call. That was his call. I told him to take B team. That doesn't mean that he had to kill himself then. I know I was making that decision in game, but in universe, I wasn't making that decision. If he died in the B team because he was leading it, sure, that's my L. I'll take it. The Minrathous choice wasn't hard for me because it was framed like it was just framed in a way that's like, oh well,
right,
like, you know, the Antiban Crows aren't a force, like we can't do it. And then also there wasn't like, yes, visually and all this stuff, there was like this big heavy choice of Minrathous is destroyed, but we talked about it logically. Max 2 to 3 hours I wasn't there because I can teleport there. If this game had more big choices and big, you know, big things to help, like,
or if just
drag me with that regret,
were better written with better impact. Then this would have really landed.
When this hitting, it's like, oh, this, I actually do regret all these choices. Like, I don't want Minrathous to be destroyed. I don't know it. I want real shit to like be happening and things suck. I don't want NPCs that I don't know die. It's this thing of like, let's use Inquisition for this.
Yeah.
The Templar mage thing isn't an easy choice. It's a tough decision to make, to, you know, do that. I'm trying to think of the decisions in Inquisition that you hit. It's like you hit Mage Templar, which is a really big one. I mean, I guess a lot of them are personal, so it's a little harder. But my thing is, like, I think there needs to be more choices. There needs to be, like, harder hitting, really, like, you're sitting there and mulling it over choices. Fucking Brother Genitivi themed choices where it's like, oh shit, do I let everyone know that the Urn of Sacred Ashes is here?
Yeah.
Do I free the fucking werewolves or do I free the elves? Do I, you know, join the Templars or do I join the mages? Maybe Origins was the one I should have picked, not Inquisition. But you know what I mean? It's like these big things. And then, drag me down with the fact that it's like, I actually did and ah about this choice for ages. Not like a single choice that I made because you pitched it wrong.
I agree.
Anyway.
So then the very last thing is you see Varric's shade in the and he reveals that, you know, Solas did something to make you see him. This reveal is just, I mean, it's a stupid concept. It's stupid, bad, and poorly executed from start to finish, the entire
100%.
way through. And it doesn't mean anything to me. And Varric in this game doesn't mean anything to me. He means, like, the relationship between him and Rook is unclear. Its depth, like, it is non-existent. And then this reveal doesn't hit at all. And
this
it doesn't
reveal retroactively makes a bunch of other conversations not make sense. I sat down with the Inquisitor and she was like, do you think I should take Solas? Like, do you think I should forgive Solas and blah, blah? And I'm like, I don't care if your Inquisitor didn't like Varric at all. Solas killing Varric would make the Inquisitor go scorched earth and be like, I'm going to fucking kill this guy. Or bring it up. She would mention, hey, you know how Solas killed one of my best friends? Like, how does she not bring it up? Harding doesn't bring...
Varric, I'm so sorry, Robin.
It's all right. No, please do.
Varric Tethras is a famous author. Like, in Thetis. Like, people should be talking about it.
I'm gonna tell you this one more again. I know they don't care about any previous decision. If Hawk was alive, do you honestly think that Varric dying would not make the champion of Kirkwall turn up and be like, it's like, oh, we're the Veilguard. We have huge amounts of armies. Hawk's like, I'm one guy. I'm gonna fucking kill them. I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm cleaning through countries of people to get to this one guy. That is why you should talk about previous choices, because I would, you know what? Story of the game again, Varric dies, Solas kills him. You make the choices of, like, what happened to your Warden, what happened to Hawk, and if Hawk is alive, you have to fight Hawk. If you're like, oh no, we're gonna like try to talk Solas down, you have to fight Hawk. Like, there's no, like, you try to have a conversation because Hawk turns up with the Inquisition because Hawk knows the Inquisition and knows that this stuff is going on, and then finds you in the lighthouse because nothing is going to stop that absolute psychopath from turning up at your door. And it's like, hey, so I heard that you're going to try to convince Solas to turn over a new leaf. And it's like, yeah, we were kind of, or it's like, hey, I heard you have Solas in your mind. Bell me in. I need to speak to this motherfucker right now. Is it blood magic that means that you can speak to Solas? I will slaughter you in this room to talk to him. I'm going to drink your blood to make sure that Solas will get me on the phone because I'm about to kill this egg.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy. It's like the Inquisitor would be pretty angry. Hawk would burn countries to the ground. Harding talks lovingly about the Inquisition, doesn't bring Varric up. Like, if he just died, she's going to mention it. None of it makes sense. It doesn't make sense in the lore of its own universe of just the Veilguard, let alone Dragon Age. Like, Thedas would be turned upside down by people trying to revenge this man. It's fucking crazy. And the fact it's so insulting that the Inquisitor was even thinking about taking Solas back. Because that's the line. It's like they did this for shock factor, but the problem is they didn't think of where's the line for these characters. And the line is you kill Varric Tethras. That's how you're gonna go. That's how this war begins, and that would be crazy. The stakes of this world of this game would be fucking huge if opening they kill Varric and you watch so much of the South go. We're gonna tear the veil down to get to this guy. Like, that's a scary game. You can't, like, not being able to reason with certain characters because, like, Mr. Dragon Age has died.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just fucking sucks and doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. It's really
and now
disappointing.
I need the story of... Actually, you know what I need? I need the story of Hawk climbing out of the Fade after you left them there in Dragon Age Inquisition to be like, where the fuck is Solas? I survived all that and I came back and my best friend's dead. I'm making omelets. I'm cracking all eggs.
Yeah.
I would love that storyline.
Yeah. Hawk,
anyway,
if Hawk's in the Fade, Hawk could get to Solas before Solas gets out.
Oh my god, you fucking... And you know what? That's the get. Okay, this is so fan fiction of me. This is my pitch of the game.
Okay.
Opening is exactly the same, but Varric fully dies, and we know that. Solas is trapped in the Fade, and the whole game is him being like, Elgar'nan and Ghilan'nain are wreaking havoc. You need to get me out. And it's like, you need to get me out because I'm going to, like, something is coming in the Fade for me. I've done something bad and something is coming. And the whole time you think, oh, Solas is like, there's just something coming in the Fade because Solas, like, did a bad thing in it. And it turns out it's fucking Hawk.
It's fucking Hawk because Solas killed Varric Tethras and
that's the twist at the end is that Solas, like, has a whole moment where you're, like, trying to have one of your roommate meetings, but you keep flashing to the Fade because Solas is trying to pull your consciousness in, being like, they're so fucking close. You need to save me. And you go in to save him and it's just fucking Hawk is stood there with just filthy, cut long ass hair, hasn't been cut in ages, is like, hasn't bathed in longer, and is like, where the fuck is Solas? I'm gonna fucking kill him. It's like, oh my god, how did you hear that Varric died? I didn't. I felt it. I felt it in the universe. I felt my best friend end, and I decided to go kill Solas. That would be crazy fun. I would love that. I
would love that so much.
But that's just because I love Hawks so much and they're my favorite.
I know. But yeah, they didn't think about who this character was or what the impact of killing them would be.
Full ass rant about my fan fiction about Hawk. I'm so sorry. I took up so much airtime to do that.
I loved that.
So excited. Oh my god.
That's exceptional. every half-brained fan fiction idea that we've come up with has been leagues better than almost everything in this game.
Oh my god, I need Solas to be Solas. I need Hawk to be in the game.
So then we've learned the truth and we escape the Fade because we've confronted our regrets in a way.
And then Emmerich pulls us out and shit.
The whole team is there pulling us out, which I thought that was cool.
That was cool.
That was cool. Again, would have been really cooler, like a lot cooler if I cared more about these characters because the game had been better.
That's the thing. I would have loved to earn this moment of like, it's a bunch. I want to go full, like, instead of everyone being best friends, I want to start the game and everyone hates each other. Like, everyone is there because it's like, well, we have to save the world because we fucking live in it. And they're all like, they're all at each other's throats to this point when this is the moment that everyone's like, no, we're a team and we live and we die together.
Great.
And they come through and pull you out of the Fade, and it's like,
you find out that while you've been trapped here, they've actually been working together without you corralling them and forcing them to, and like this is the culmination of all that.
Sick.
That'd be excellent.
That'd be awesome.
But you're pulled out. You have a little talk about it. Everybody is so condescending about the Varric thing. They're like, we didn't mention it because we thought
everyone's
you knew
talking about it now. Now everyone's talking about it. And Varric gets brought up consistently now, and I'm like, all right, gang.
Fuck
this
off.
is the shit ass twist. I hate this.
Whatever. Okay. But then we still have to confront Elgar'nan. He is the last one. He still has his archdemon.
Yeah.
And now we know Solas is out in the world. They've attacked Minrathous like on a full-on assault, but Solas is there saving people and fighting them. And it's like mildly annoying to us because the people are calling the Dreadwolf a hero. And to me, the Dreadwolf should be a hero. Like, he's not this just like simplification into his character being like, oh, he was a bad guy the whole time. He was freeing the elven people from tyrannous gods who enslaved them. Like he did it bad, and like the ritual he did had bad consequences, but he was objectively trying to do a heroic thing. This whole like he's a liar and he's a schemer and he's using people thing is such a garbage simplification of what he is. Whatever. Anyway, he's out there, he's saving Minrathous in our absence. And so we have to go confront him
and do a siege.
Siege
assault
on there, and we have to get the dagger back because Solas is never going to agree to kill Elgar'nan.
Because if he kills Elgar'nan, no. If he kills Elgar'nan, that's what will end the Veil, right?
It will kill the Veil because the Veil is tied to the gods that were trapped there. So if the last god attached to it dies, it will still fall.
Yeah.
And Solas is never going to agree to put the Veil back. So we have to take that power out of his hands. We have to get the dagger back. And then we have to try to cut Solas with the dagger to tie him to the Veil so that when we kill Elgar'nan, the Veil won't drop. Fine, whatever. The adventure here is another really cool one, though. It's another thing.
Oh, I loved this whole final set. I loved it's like every person that you have like pretty good, like every like faction that you have good standing with turns up, and you are fully like, it's like almost a heist. You're like planning a siege, and it's like, okay, what faction is like, the factions are like, oh, I'm gonna hit this area and try to do this, and it's like, but we need someone who is good with with like magic and unlocking doors and technology to get us into the to the tower. So then you have to pick one of your team members who is good with these things that can go in and try to break the locks. Then there is a giant colossus that will be awake and is like, will be hitting everyone. the Grey Wardens are going to try to fight that. Well, for me, it was the Grey Wardens are going to try to fight that.
Yeah, it was the Grey Wardens for me, but you get to pick your team member who's going to go with them.
And it's like, who is good at fighting big things that will be able to take this thing down.
I had Emmerich do the breaking the ritual. I had Tosh do
I did Tosh do that. I had
front assault.
Nev do the breaking because I wanted Emmerich with me. I originally picked Emmerich, and then I actually changed my mind and I picked Nev because I realized, because you're picking a bunch of people and then they're all busy, so you don't have time to have them in your party. And also Balara and whoever died are dead.
Right, so you're really limited.
You're limited with your team. And then there's going to be a shitload of Venatori, but they will collapse if their commander is dead. So you have to pick someone to go and kill the commander. Lucanus is the easiest choice in the world.
Yeah.
But this was really cool.
This was really good. Yeah.
This was and again, this is going to be a great conversation to talk about at a later date.
Yeah. Also, the game tells you that if the companion is not a hero of the Veilguard, you have a higher chance that they're going to fail at this mission.
Yeah.
So I had everybody at hero of the Veilguard, but if you don't,
there's a higher chance
becomes a more complicated decision.
And it was more complicated, but I was lucky because the team that was doing it for me is the Veil Jumpers, and they were at max. So I risked picking Nev, even though she wasn't a hero of the Veil for me. So hoping that she had the backing of the Veil Jumpers, and she did. She was successful. Mm-hmm. And then you pick all the people, you pick who's coming with you, and then you have the sickest fucking cutscene. It was so slick. All of your decisions and choices and the people with you were all like being enacted at the same time. For me, Emmerich had this great thing where when everyone like got their weapons and ready, he like swung his staff over his face and went from Emmerich to Lich Emmerich, and it was awesome.
Oh, that's hot.
So sick.
Yeah.
It was fucking so fresh. I love him.
Even without that, I felt like that whole cutscene was still really strong for me. But that's really cool.
It was awesome. Yeah. It was a great, like, it made me feel like the shit I've been doing was the true trudgery of this game was cool for this moment.
Yeah.
I just felt cool. I was tense the whole time because I was like, we had a really long cutscene with Nev trying to lock the thing where she was failing to unlock the door. And I was like, oh my God, she's going to fucking die. Holy shit. And like, I thought that
Emmerich did it like easy. It was great.
I love that. Actually, that's fucking huge.
I had one where Tosh almost died, it looked like.
Tosh looked like, because they were crumbled under the thing and then they like broke out of it. That was huge. I thought that was fucking awesome. There was so much in this cutscene that I was like, this is Dragon Age, baby. Like, this shit fucking
big Dragon
rules.
Age vibes, yeah.
Big Dragon Age vibes from these two last cutscenes. You make it. You then go and you find Solas, who is like fighting tentacles. And then you have like a conversation where you try to convince him to do something.
You try to
Well, I think you go to him and he's like, oh, you got out. Good job. I keep underestimating you. By the way, we don't have time for what you're going to ask me, so we have to get up there.
Yeah.
And then Solas joins your team. I love this in any RPG where you get someone who is like hyper powerful that's not in your party, but you can feel the effects. Because
he just
Solas is casting crazy huge spells and doing just like nonsense shit.
Doing
and you're
big
fighting,
AoE
like,
stuff where he's freezing whole hordes of
enemies
enemies.
Of people. And they're all like hyper strong enemies that it's like you see them coming, you're like, oh fuck. And then Solas like insta kills them and it's like, oh yeah, baby, we're doing the damn thing. And it's great. Then you get to a certain point and then the archdemon turns up, this massive dragon. I do like the look of this archdemon. It's a particularly big dragon, even though it's just a big dragon. But I was like, "Ooh, it's a big dragon." And then Solas is like, "Fuck, I have to kill this thing because none of you are strong enough." And then gives you the lyrium dagger. and he's like, go kill Elgar'nan. I'm gonna do this. And then he turns into the Dreadwolf, turns into a giant wolf, and then fights this dragon.
I want you to know that how you picture me in that moment, it's accurate.
Well, how am I picturing you? Were you psyched?
I was.
Did you hate it?
So psyched. I was so psyched. Oh my god, the Dreadwolf has a werewolf form.
Yeah,
that's like, are you kidding me? Big werewolf guy, giant, for those who don't know.
Yeah, big multi-eyed, fucking cool ass form.
Giant god wolf. Oh yeah. Oh, I was fucking jizzing everywhere. It was crazy.
Love that. It fucked. And then you battle through Minrathous as tell you what, Nev was mad that Minrathous was destroyed when the dragon was around for 20 minutes. This place is rubble. This place is completely fucked now. I'm glad that Nev isn't like, well, look at my city now. You did this. It's like, no, I didn't. This guy did.
Yep.
It was already rubble when I got here. So anyway, you're fighting through a tower. Occasionally you're like interrupted because a fucking wolf and a dragon like break the building that you're in, and it's fucking cool. It's great. You're like fighting around them, and there's a lot of big tough guys, but I have my mechanical like stats. I was all about stagger and pushback, so I was just pushing people off of buildings, and it was easy.
Love that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then you get to the base of because the palace that we saw at the beginning of the game that we keep being like, man, I hope we go up there at some point, is where Elgar'nan is, and you're going to climb up this tentacle that is like connected to this place, and you're at the base of it. The Inquisitor turns up, Morrigan turns up, the heroes of everywhere that you've seen have kind of turns up, and then they're like, right, game plan, what is happening? This is it. This is the final moment.
This is the, talk to your team one last time.
There is a thing which the team made another dagger that looks and feels exactly the same as the Lyrium dagger, but Solas won't know until the last moment. I didn't understand what happened. I was like, I feel like I must have missed something.
Yes. So while you were in the Fade, they were trying to come up with a backup strategy because we've lost the Lyrium dagger. So they were trying to see if they could recreate it. They got close, but not enough. It can do a little bit of magic, but it is not nearly as powerful. It isn't going to be enough to kill a god. But so they come up with another plan where they're like, all right, maybe we could use this as a bait and switch with Solas. Somehow trick him into thinking that he has the dagger and swap it with this one. And then he will be able to do things our way, and he won't be able to take down the Veil. That
I didn't
wound
really
up
understand
not
where this
being
choice came in. Yeah, it wasn't relevant for me either. I didn't really understand where the choice was.
So I think that if you haven't done everything, if you haven't done I think that
but I didn't.
That's true. I don't know. I think at some point or in some circumstance there will be an opportunity to do that bait and switch, but I didn't get it.
Oh, I got the option to do the bait and switch.
Oh, okay.
But I just didn't do it because I didn't understand what it was because we'll get to that. You say your goodbyes to everyone. Is there anything that you want to mention about the goodbyes? They're all fairly standard. It was a lot of like...
Goodbyes are fine. Again, I think they really would have hit better if I cared about these characters more. My talk with Emmerich, we got a proper I love you, so we came full circle with that conflict from earlier.
I like that.
Big, again, Sylvia, thank you for giving us a character. We love you, Sylvia.
You get to the base just before you climb up.
Yeah,
the Inquisitor is like, we have to hold this position for you. This annoyed me, but in a different way. Helwyn for me was like, we have to hold this position. We need someone who can lead frontline, who has been on the front line and can lead an army. And I was like, you're the Inquisitor. You've been frontline. You've led an army. You do it. But I was like, I mean, I fucking guess Tarsh can do it.
Yeah.
And I got
so we pick a new round of like who's gonna do what this time.
But it was weird because it's like, you're the Inquisitor. It's you, babe. Like it's you're the leader. You ran a
siege.
Yeah, you've done a lot of shit.
Fortress, baby. Like it's you.
Damn, I hate to tell a woman her place, but yours is on the front line.
A woman's place is on the front lines. Inquisition. We'll get one piece of merch done for Dorkspawn, and it's a woman's place is on the front lines with a picture of adamant fortress in the background.
No, we have two. It's a woman's place is the front line, and then we have one which is it's a picture, a silhouette of Hawk saying, "Where's Solas?"
That's it. There you go.
Or just, "I'm gonna make an omelet," something like that. And it's anyway. You climb up the thing, then you confront Elgar'nan. He's like full blighted now. He has a gross face because his face is all dripping with like goop. And I'm like, clean yourself up. You're a leader.
Yeah.
You fight him in a fight that I found very satisfying because I kicked the hell out of him.
Oh, we find and release Bellara.
We find and release Bellara, of course, because that's when the Archdragon turns up. It's because we find and release Bellara. She's like going mad. She's fully blighted. She like has weird like red eyes now, and it looks great. And I was like, oh, this I would really love for us to have like a hour or two with this. It's really cool.
But because of that, because she was stuck inside of his like
his hive
web
mind
for a while, she could also hear some of his plans. So she's helping us now with defeating him,
which is really cool.
That was cool.
That was neat.
So then ultimately, also before we go out to fight the final battle, Morrigan stops us and is like, "Oh, might not have happened for you, I think." So we have two extra things that might help in this fight.
Cool.
I have the essence of Mythal that I could use. We don't know what it's going to do, but we can use it. And then Morrigan gives me some fragment of Solas's memories. From her own fraction of Mythal. And what she gives is like the memory of it's the memory of Solas's army that fought him in the first place. And she's like, if you find yourself in dire need, activate this and they will fight him one more time. So it's like the enslaved elves of Arlathan are going to rise up and kill Elgar'nan one final time. Cool.
Huge.
Cool shit.
Fucking sick, actually.
Great.
That's awesome.
And then that's where I learned that the Lyrium dagger has slots for runes that I haven't been using, and you can activate them. I just totally forgot that
no
was
way. That's crazy.
So I filled those up and started using them in the final fight. So that's cool. Once you kill Elgar'nan, you have a final confrontation with Solas. So I actually want to hear how this went for you, because you didn't have the option to use Mythal at all.
No. So this is fun because listen, I'm going to be so real with you. The last 30 minutes, I've had a great time talking. Do you know why? Because we're getting excited about Dragon Age.
Yeah, I missed that.
This last mission is really good.
I missed that,
So you fight Elgar'nan. He is like, I'm full ass immortal. You can't beat me ever. And then Bellara sits in the chair, and then she controls the blight. So then she does something I can't necessarily remember. She becomes kind of like a blight god a little bit, and then does some shit.
Because he does that thing where he mind controls us for a little bit. She lets the thing absorb her so that she can fight him within the hive mind and and tells it to drop us. And
yes. That's it.
Yeah. It's cool.
And then Solas comes out, and then he is like, "Oh, you kill Elgar'nan." Solas comes out and showboats a little. And then I had the choice to fight Solas or to do the dagger switch. And I didn't really understand what the dagger switch was going to do. But I thought it was like, oh, you kind of switch it and then Solas leaves. And then it's kind of like a, you let the veil like come down or whatever. And you kind of like agree with Solas. But then I was like, but that doesn't make any sense. Anyway, I didn't really understand what it was.
Sure.
So I just decided to fight him. You go to like swing the dagger. Solas stops you, takes the dagger from you, and then like opens the thing, and then everything starts going really bad. And then in a moment, which I again really liked, all of the companions start turning up and just like wailing on Solas.
Holy shit! Cool.
Solas then like releases you because he tries to fight other people, and then he turns and you like punch him so square in the face that he like fully falls on his ass. You grab the dagger and then stab him and kick him into the veil, and then he like falls in and is like, I will find another way out, and you're like, I fucking doubt it. And then he is absorbed into the veil, and then it closes, and then you climb back down. And I knew that there was a best ending. I thought it was fucking awesome. It's a really cool final scene where everyone turns up and then starts like Harding turns up and then like hits him with an arrow, and then like Tarsh like smacks him in the knee, and then like Lucanus like jumps on him and stabs him, and it's like a whole thing where everyone's doing shit, and then he turns around and then you full like one clean Stan Pines from Gravity Falls like punch him like square in the jaw, and then he falls down. It's cool. It's a really cool bit.
To me, that sounds like a best ending, to be honest. So I am really curious what happens if you do the dagger swap. But what I did was I activated the Mythal fragment.
Yeah.
And this was disappointing to me because I find Mythal to be such a letdown in terms of all the build up. 3 games of lore around her, and she's just sort of like a sweetie. I don't know. It was just very odd to me. And so she shows up. She talks to Solas. I can't even say she confronts him. It's like just such a very bland conversation. But and then again, we're back to being a very Veilguardy, where he immediately like admits that he regrets what he's done, and he immediately agrees to undo what he's doing. He's going to close the veil. He'll tie himself to it, and he's going to go seek redemption for himself.
Sure.
And fine, I guess. So he does that. So Solas takes the lyrium dagger, the true lyrium dagger, cuts himself and ties himself to the veil, seals it, and goes off to find redemption for himself. And that's the ending that I got. I know there are a couple other endings. I haven't looked into what they are, but I plan to.
There is a Sovelian romance ending, like a specific romance one. But I
think I like yours better.
I got a really cool one. I have actually got it pulled up. I just pulled it up because you said, "Oh, I wish I saw that." I know that we can't really watch it on the podcast, but afterwards, I implore people to go just check out, if you haven't seen it, the Fight Solas ending, because I thought it was really cool.
That sounds really good. Yeah.
Yeah. And also it's like, I know there are a lot of different endings, but this one made sense for the character I wanted, which is someone who hates Solas because he's fucking with everything. I also personally really like this ending. Like, I know it's not the best, but I am like, well, what does the best mean? This guy sucks. and is a bad villain. Like, he's
according
not a bad
to this
villain. Sorry,
game and this
he's
game
a bad guy.
alone. Yeah,
and it's like I mean, hey, listen. Yes, according to this game and this game alone, I like this. Even if we go back to like who Solas is, if I was playing a similar character, if this was a better game, if I was playing a similar character that was like, oh, but he hasn't redeemed himself and betrayed us 3 times in this game, I would be like, yeah, I'm gonna kick the fuck out of him. Admittedly, this is the same decision that I made at the very. This is the first decision of the game. Is like, oh, like let Varric try to convince him, or get Varric to go fight him, or like try to ask Varric to go fight him. And this is the same decision that I made like right at the beginning, which kind of does show that my character hasn't grown at all. But it's fucking cool.
It is cool
cutscene.
So then that's it. That's the game, and then we have
it, and then it closes.
We have like a little epilogue cards that are, in my opinion, like really devastatingly brief. I like that it's the characters talking for themselves and not like just a Varric monologue.
I also like that. They don't say anything.
There's not much at all. Yeah.
They really like just kind of say, hey, these are these guys. And it's like, yeah, but I didn't help these people. I would like to know how the feelings of them have shifted.
Mm-hmm.
And then it has the last moment that I felt was very condescending is they were like, thank you to all of us who got us all this way. And I'm like, but you didn't listen to anyone.
You didn't even care about the previous games that got you here. So fuck you for that condescending piece of shit.
I was mad about that. That was really upsetting.
So so I wound up liking those last 2 quests.
Loved those last 2 quests. That last quest I thought was fucking awesome.
It was. I still am pretty salty because I feel like overall the theme of this, the messaging of this was just simply not the adventure that I thought this game was going to be, and like it was not a story that I think the previous games were building to. Specifically, I do want to call out one thing, which is that they've made Sandal's prophecy untrue, and that was one of my favorite fucking things. It's so stupid, but my boy Sandal said one day the magic will come back. That all of it, everyone will be just as they were. The shadows will part and the skies will open. When he rises, everyone will see. That is what my boy Sandal says when he is given the gift of prophecy in Dragon Age 2 Act 3.
Listen, I don't want anyone listening to confuse my enjoyment of Act 3 my enjoyment of Act 3, my enjoyment of Emmerich, to be any enjoyment for this absolutely dog shit game. This is a bad story. It is an insulting story. It is not fun to play. I will not play it again.
Oh, I'm never playing this again. Yeah.
The last two missions of this game, the last 2 big missions, I know that they're separated by several little missions. The last 2 missions of the game are so fun.
So fun.
In the middle of these 2 missions is one of the most insulting twists I've ever fucking seen. Let's not give this game any praise because it is a great mission. They insult you directly to your face, and then another fantastic mission.
Yeah.
This is not really in any way a good game.
I know.
I played like 60, maybe 70 hours of this detritus, and I had fun for 3 hours. Kill yourself.
I played 80 hours of this game. It's crazy. You know what?
It's horrendous.
Yeah.
But the last 2 missions, because there is a lot of decisions, there was tension. It felt like Dragon Age.
It felt like Dragon Age again.
It had good music. Yeah. It looked beautiful. It was fun. It did interesting things with the format that it was doing. This game is horrendously bad. Just because it has a closing note that is really fucking cool doesn't mean this game is good at all.
I agree.
Yeah.
So Robin, we've been doing a very fun and mean sign off for this game. But now that I've played it in full, I know what the actual sign off would be if, say, we had done this game the same way that we did the first 3.
Okay.
So I know what the real sign off is. Before you take any guesses, because I want you to think, do you know what it is? Do you know what the actual
I have
sign
no
off?
idea. Aside from we've been dead this whole time.
No, an actual quote from the game that is said so much that it would be the actual catchphrase. Now, before I say it, don't say it. Don't say it. If you know what it is, don't say it.
Oh, I don't know what it is though. I'm guessing, but I will wait.
Don't guess it. Don't guess it. So first thing, I want to recap what the catchphrases that we picked from the first 3 games were. We had in war, in peace, vigilance, in war, victory, in death, sacrifice for Origins.
God love him.
Killer. The warden sign off killer. Yeah. In Dragon Age 2, we picked an early quote from Mythal, which was, your struggles have only just begun. Even though it's not necessarily a catchphrase, killer line.
So fun.
And Corypheus
It's a good thesis.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Corypheus's line from Dragon Age Inquisition, beg that we succeed, for we have seen the throne of the gods, and it is empty. God, what a line.
So good.
And so now, Robin, I'm gonna take a guess here, because I think that you could know what this is.
Oh God, I don't know. I'm thinking of a line that is said a lot, but I don't know if you're doing like a bit and it's like a really shitty line.
It's really shitty. And in comparison to those first 3, it is bad. If you don't want to guess with me, that's fine. But I'm gonna say it. I don't want to guess with it.
Okay.
Are you gonna guess with me?
Because I have a feeling I'm going to get it wrong, and that gives me so much performance anxiety that I kind of don't want to.
You don't want to do it? Okay. So then I'm just going to say it, because the real sign off for this series would be whatever it takes.
I knew it. That's what I was going to say, actually. Fuck, I did know it. Because the thing is, in a better written game, whatever it takes, that would be a cool, I think, if whatever it takes, if this were the characters from Dragon Age 2 and they said whatever it takes a lot in terms of this, like, we're going to kill Solas or whatever it takes, and you're just making horrendous decisions the whole time, I think that would be sick. But it really only comes into its own and people say whatever it takes consistently toward the end of the game. They just keep saying
whatever it takes. But because there's no stakes and because there's no reason for me to be the guy and there's no reason for us to be doing any of this, whatever it takes is just like, and it carries no weight, and it's nothing.
Do you know what's crazy? After Balara's mission, I had a conversation with her when she asks, why are you doing this?
Yes.
Like, and I had the option, and I did click.
Me too. I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't know. And she was like, yeah, maybe it's because we're all good people just trying to survive. And I'm like, no. You don't know why I'm doing this, though. There is no motivation. If I'm at the final act of the game and my character has the chance to say, I actually don't know why I'm here, this is that you've got to take it back to the drawing board, gang. You really can't even thing. You can't record that line. That's just bad.
Yeah. Crazy.
Truly horrendous. I hate it. I hated this game toe to tip. Oh no, I didn't. Toe to neck.
Because
the head I thought was really fun. But I think it was fun because, gang, I love big set piece battles, and that is something that will never change about me. I liked the last Hobbit movie because it's just a giant set piece battle. It has no indicator on if it's good or not. I just like a big set piece.
No, I agree.
Now, are we done talking about Dragon Age of Veilguard?
We're done
because we have some stuff.
Some housekeeping.
Gang. Some housekeeping. We started this because this is Dillin's favorite franchise of all time, and I've never played any Dragon Age game. When we started playing the Veilguard, we were like, I don't want to stop doing this kind of video game book club thing with you. I want to keep going because best friend in the whole world, and we just love talking about stories.
Yeah.
So next week, we are going to have a kind of Dragon Age wrap-up where we talk about everything that we...
whole. Yeah.
Just a series as a whole. We're going to have questions that we're going to ask each other. Not really formal ones, but like we have things like what one character appeared in one game that you would have loved to have been a companion. You would have loved to turn up later, been in other games. Like, you know, what is a favorite mission from the series? What's a favorite moment? Stuff like that.
If you are in our Discord and you have, yes, please add yours to the Discord.
Do. And then after we do that, we have decided that we're going to play the Mass Effect franchise.
Yes.
Starting with Mass Effect 1, of course. This is a series that I love a lot. Now, it's going to be interesting because I don't know this series as well as Dillin knows Dragon Age, but Dillin has never played Mass Effect.
Never at all.
So we thought it would be so fun to continue. We're still going to be called Dorkspawn because the name is too good.
Name is good, yeah.
But we've decided that we're going to, after this, play the Mass Effect franchise. After Mass Effect, we're going to do Mass Effect 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do Andromeda, because I've never played Andromeda. And it'll be really fun to talk about Andromeda alongside the Veilguard as, like, it's outside of main series. It's like a weird take on things, and just talking about it's going to be really fun. And then after that, we're just going to keep playing choice games together. But if you're like, dang, I would love to hear these two continue to talk about Dragon Age, on our Patreon, we are going to start an actual Dragon Age book club, starting with The Stolen Throne. We are going to do a chapter reading where we read the thing and then we talk about it on through our Patreon. So that's going to be a Patreon exclusive.
We're going to do them all. Comics too.
Comics too, everything. Mm-hmm. We don't know if it's going to be bi-weekly or monthly, but we're going to figure it out depending on how much we have to do.
And it might be sporadic too, like depending on how how much reading we get done, certain weeks.
Yeah, but we do also, we've just released our Dragon Age 2 tier list video for Patreon. We have a Dragon Age Origins one. We will do a Dragon Age Inquisition. We are not going to do a Veilguard one.
No.
Unless we have a fun Veilguard video, like what are our pitches for...
Yeah, we're not going to do a tier list because I can't talk about these characters.
It's Emmerich
anymore.
S, everyone F.
That's it. There you go.
Yeah.
Speaking of, thank you to the people already supporting us on Patreon.
Oh my God, the dream.
Heroes, literally. But a special...
Of the Veilguard.
Yeah, no, you're champions of Kirkwall. You are champions of this very small city. Yeah. Thank you to Rodrigo, Parker Lang, Meadow, Callum, and Caroline for being top supporters. You are literally the best, and to everybody, obviously.
It's so grand.
So look out for that.
Yeah. So if you still want to listen to us talk about Dragon Age, you can join the Patreon. If you want to listen to us just talk about video games and kind of storytelling in this like BioWare kind of EA thing, because Mass Effect and Dragon Age are so tied to the point where there are references in both. You get Commander Shepard's armor in the Veilguard, actually. Is as recent as that.
Oh, wow. I didn't see that. That's cool.
Yeah, you get Commander. Well, it's like Harding, like it's literally like you start the game, you get to the lighthouse, and there's a chest, and you open it, and then she says like, it feels like an old friend left this. Maybe it's us shepherding in a new thing, and then it's like, okay, and then you're wearing the N7 Mass Effect armor.
Yeah. Do you want to shoot me in the face, actually?
But it's going to be fun. So it's so next week we're going to do our wrap up. The week after that, we are going to be playing just the prologue of Mass Effect. I'm really excited to talk about it because I'm really interested. I'm interested, gang. It's going to be really fun. I'm really, really looking forward to it. I really love Mass Effect.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I might start it today.
Oh, I actually already have. I've already booted it up and I have a character, and I was just about to click play before you called me and was like, hey, let's play. Really looking forward to it.
Oh my God.
Anyway, gang, should we do all of them? All of the sign-offs, just one after the other?
Let's do that next
to wrap
episode.
Up? Okay. This one, do you want to do the new one for the Veilguard now?
Yeah, because I want it to have the emotional weight that this game gave me. All of the
where we introduce it and then we immediately close it and never use it again.
Exactly. So hey gang. Whatever it takes.
I couldn't finish it. Whatever it takes. Done. There you go. Get out of here.